kind of broken, right?
Yeah.
This was supposed to be we go back to the Stefanski scheme, and the scheme's going to carry it all. What are you doing here? It feels like this is sort of the nail in the coffin for Kevin.
The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan. The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima.
You look at what is mounting here on both of these guys. Again, it cannot just be Andrew or Kevin. It cannot be either or. It's everybody involved. There's no way there's one evildoer that's leading to all this.
The whole thing is broke. The whole thing is absolutely broke. Tommy Rees, he's not done this at the NFL level before. So you want to talk about desperation. Maybe it works. Maybe he's amazing. Maybe it really was the play calls.
It's just a pup, 33 years old.
My guess is that won't be the case. My guess is you'll see a lot of the exact same struggles, and then where do they turn? What's the next move? Is it just going to be to throw all the quarterbacks under the bus? Like, they're running out of ways to frame this as anything other than, none of us are doing our jobs very well right now.
This is Cleveland Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
Welcome into the show where we are mostly, in parentheses, dead at the deadline. Good morning.
Morning.
What did Mitch put on here? It's mostly dead. In
tell
parentheses,
people what
mostly.
you're referencing.
So we have a guest rundown on our station or our show Twitter page, and Mitch makes the headlines.
There's a graphic.
The graphic and the headlines, and it says it's got a picture of Andrew and Kevin, and underneath it says Wednesday, November 5th, 2025, 8 o'clock around the AFC North. Ken Wyman, James Rabin, Andrew Filipponi, and then right above it says in parentheses mostly, and then after dead at the deadline. Mostly dead at the deadline.
Is that not accurate?
Wouldn't we just be dead at the deadline?
Oh, so fully dead.
I want to know how much. You're either dead or you're not dead. There's no mostly dead unless we're doing Princess Brides here. So you're either dead or you're not dead. You can come back to life, but for a moment you're dead. So there's no mostly dead.
Mitch is on mic.
Mitch.
Yes.
Mitch is already mad.
Mostly mad.
Mitch is mad at the.
You're either mad or you're not mad.
You're either mad or you're not mad. Mitch can't be mostly mad. Mitch.
I'm here.
Are we dead or are we not dead?
I was saying that in reference to the amount of moves we made yesterday, not the current status of the team or any of its staff.
Okay. Well, it's okay.
Stop doing that with your voice.
It's okay, Mitch. Mostly dead at the deadline. Well, do you think that we're dead or not dead?
I don't really know at this point. I was in reference to the amount of moves that people thought we were going to make yesterday, especially with all the reports that we were buyers.
We were going to go on a spending spree yesterday.
Who were we going to go out and get, though?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
That was up to the Browns, and apparently they didn't. They either tried to make moves and didn't get them, or they weren't going to make moves at all.
Do people feel silly buying into that report now? Like, were there actual expectations? When Adam Schefter says it,
no.
I mean, he put a stamp on it.
No.
He went out of his way to throw out a tweet.
Yeah, but he kind of put a little bit of cool water on that and was like,
Well, why did he have to put it out to begin with? What the Browns told him? Put this out. Let them know.
Well, wait a minute. You're telling me that they told Adam Schefter to just put something out there?
Why would he feel compelled?
Reckless speculation.
He is a reporter, sir, intrepid, a journalist.
He's a regurgitator of PR releases before they come out.
At one point, I kind of went down that line a little bit some years ago, and somebody told me, if you value your career, you'll be very careful how you say this.
I've seen the tide has turned on this, though.
That was said to me, hand to God.
At a dinner?
I've seen over the last week, there have been podcasts about this in journalistic circles.
So I was just the first one to it?
You were way early.
Okay.
But yeah, go back now. Why do you think Adam Schefter felt compelled to put out a statement about the 2-6 Browns and that they'd be buyers at the deadline? How silly.
Why would the Browns,
why did he think that would be important?
Why would the Browns want that out there?
I don't know.
We're going to be buyers?
That's so...
They don't want that.
So maybe they wanted, instead of calling every team, you just have Schefter put it out and have, the low level employees in every organization in the NFL go, hey, boss, look, the Browns are willing to buy this and do this. Like, it just made no sense to me whatsoever.
Maybe it was a team that sold a bunch yesterday and said, I think the Browns are going to be the buyers so that the Browns weren't sellers and they could sell their things and they could sell their cornerback for 2 first-round picks.
Well, so the Jets were putting this out
That
there?
sounds like heavy-duty chess.
That's 6D chess.
A lot of these.
Yeah, that's a hell of a lot. Okay, so you and I, we kind of fleshed this out on the air. And you and I, because I've waffled back and forth. There's been some, I've had my flip-flops on here and there. Because, when you go through a season like this and you have this much tied up in certain players, it makes you think crazy things. And so I fleshed it on the air with you, last week about Miles and whether or not, you move on from Miles. And I go, during the season, it just doesn't seem to be the prudent thing. I think maybe we'd reevaluate it. I think it gets reevaluated every cycle. There's 2 cycles. There's really the off season, and then there's right before the trade deadline. So you kind of go through this, and I think right before the draft is when you consider such matters. Unless somebody's like, I'm not playing, I'm having a holdout, not showing up to camp, this, that, and the other. Then, maybe you gotta hit the nuclear option like what happened with Micah Parsons, okay? But I think that we'll go through this again with Miles. But I said, all right, let's go to the wintertime because you might be able to get a team that's talking themselves into making a run, and you might be able to get a better draft pick if we're really going to do this, a complete liquidation, a complete dead cap situation for picks. And then they traded Sauce Gardner yesterday with the Jets. And I kind of had to sit there and go, dude, if they're getting 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner, what the hell could we get for Myles Garrett? I mean, before it was like, well, you can get 2 or 3 first-round picks. 3 first-round picks for Myles Garrett seems good. If you're getting 2 first-round picks, like Sauce Gardner's good. What's Sauce Gardner's real name? Because if his name was not Sauce, okay, if it was just Ahmad Gardner, I don't care. You're not 2 first-round picks. I don't care. I'm telling you right now. If he just went by Ahmad Gardner, he's a good player. Is he 2 first-round picks good? No. Yeah,
but I thought about that too. Could it just be that teams aren't willing to, like Miles is just too much money. Too much money in terms of picks. Too many.
Maybe.
Like, is it just that teams won't, because the league changes so much not every 2 years, every year. Like I heard a podcast overnight, and it was 2 NFL guys, but they were breaking down, the Colts giving up a pick in 2 years, and they're like, will Daniel Jones even be their quarterback in 2 years? Like, this stuff changes so fast. This is very risky to even go into the well 2 years from now when they have the toughest, like the Colts have the toughest schedule the rest of the year. They could bottom out. Like, they could go on a negative run here.
They very well could. And
so that's why I think teams might be really hesitant. But to 3 first-rounders for Miles, like, what does this all mean in 3 years? Our team could be rebuilding by then.
Okay, but at the same time, you're right about that, but I think the conversation has changed so much. Like, before, like, this is what I yelled. Like, some people were getting mad at the Browns for not tanking like the Jets. And, guys, I can see some of the other side of the argument. I'm not that rigid about it. You know where I stand on tanking, but my rigidity is still not where, like, okay, the Jets got a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball. They can't do anything with it because their offense can't do anything. So except for against the Bengals, who have a terrible defense. So you have to have a good defense, but you really have to have a really good offense. And if you have nothing on offense, it's like, okay, well, we're really kind of dead in the water. And some people are going, well, here, Browns, you see what this is? I go, okay, but I don't think it's the same thought of we have to have the number 1 overall pick now. We have to have that guy. It has to, because I think we're learning more and more, hey, man, they come in different places. And there's plenty of good teams that have traded up, traded back into the first round. They got a good system. They got good coaching. They are a stable organization. They have stability, which I know. And then they're able to provide somewhat of a decent runway for the quarterback. But right now, you look around the league. I thought about this earlier this morning on the drive in because I heard Peterlin talking about it, and they were mentioning Kyler Murray right as they brought on Albert Breer yesterday, and I'm going, man, Kyler Murray, they want him to go away. That's a lot of money. Tua, they want him to go away. That's a lot of money. Deshaun Watson, we want him to go away. That's a lot of money. And you're going, man, who do you really want to pay now? Who do you really want to pay? Like Bo Nix? Is Bo Nix out of the woods?
No.
Is J.J. McCarthy out of the woods? No. I hate to say it, is Jaden Daniels out of the woods? Now he's not. So there's a couple guys you think might have that chance, but right now the usual suspects are getting paid. But I think that we have to change our thoughts on you get that number one guy and you set sail for the rest of your lives and you pay him $500 million and that's it. No, because even that number one guy is found in different places, usually in the first round, absolutely within the first round. But that guy is found in different spots where you kind of got to do your homework and got to find the right guy and you got to put him in the right situation. You got to incubate him again.
Okay, so this all leads to the obvious question about who's doing it right. Are the Jets doing it right or are the Browns doing it right? Because you can make the argument that these two teams are kind of in a similar spot.
Can I say neither?
Well, let's be clear about the big difference here. Why do you think the Jets truly did make those moves and trade their young, talented defensive players? Why did they do that? They fired Joe Douglas and they hired their new GM in January. Mm-hmm. That new GM came in, and Albert Breer kind of spoke to this yesterday on the afternoon show. That new GM came in, and what did he observe? We're not as good as the previous regime thought we were. And I've said this before, that if a new GM came in, and this was the offseason when Myles Garrett was looking for a trade. If a new GM had come in last offseason and looked at the Browns setup, what would that GM have said? We got to trade Myles Garrett. I mean, that's just what a new GM would have said.
Yeah, that's true.
So they have now done it. They've made their trades. And you're right. Like, we all think Myles Garrett should get so much more. Again, sometimes the price is just too much. But in this situation, like, we're going to be monitoring. Who knows if the Jets make the right picks, right? But they have definitely secured the runway over the next 2 seasons. This isn't just 1 year, and they diversified, like you said. Like, if the Browns are going to make deals, it can't just be about first-round picks in this draft. It has to be.
Yeah, they got like 3 and 4 or something in 2027.
And they're making
ridiculous.
it. I know we could be wrong in 2 years, but they are making it seem like 2027 is the draft that you want to be in. Who knows? We're guessing on stuff, and we would all thought Archie Manning would be in this draft, and he's not going to be. So, and he's not. We don't even know how good he is right now. So,
had a good game on Saturday, but that's bogging it down. Go ahead.
So all I'm wondering is, are we sure that this current regime is not overrating the roster and the state of affairs here? Are they delusional? Are they acting like the Homer Browns fans that are always in defense of, we're not that far away, we're not that far away? The Jets said, we're far away. We are far away. Let's go. Let's get these picks. Let's take advantage of the market out there, and let's secure the footing for a new foundation.
I can't make a choice. Because their history, neither team's history tells me that they're...
I'm not talking about history. This is a new GM.
Okay.
I'm talking about the future.
I mean, we've had new GMs too, and I cannot tell you how many. I mean, I've been paying attention to the NFL draft, Tone, since I was a small kid. I used to take the rooster thing on the stove and turn it to 15 minutes and kind of play along on a Saturday morning or Saturday midday. You can ask my dad. Like, I paid attention for a long time. In 39 years on this earth, and 34 paying attention to anything that comes with the NFL draft ever since I was a small kid. The Jets have won the draft, quote unquote. I mean, half of that time at least. And they've, with the exception of a couple of years with Parcells, they've always been a gag. And 1 year with Rex Ryan, they've always been a gag. And with the Browns, how many times have we, quote unquote, won the draft? And we've always been a gag. But I can't.
I haven't thought we've won very many drafts. I know people in town think we've won a lot of drafts. Well, I certainly haven't.
Okay, there's some homerism there, obviously. But still, there's been plenty of people that have said we've won drafts on both sides. So I can't say because of the Jets' history that they won. But am I getting any better for the future with, I don't know, paying into Myles Garrett? Myles Garrett's always going to be good, so at least you set your watch to him. All right? My offense, I've talked about it a million times with you. What am I going to do with my offensive line? Like, if the only thing this does is like, okay, after 4 o'clock, let's work on an extension with Wyatt Teller. Let's get him at least taken care of, and then Luke Whippler, and then let's see if we can build inside out where now I got 2 fists and I got to work on the other 3 for crying out loud. That's very difficult. In the secondary, yeah, there were some guys that you could possibly move from, but again, you don't want to mess with it because I think that they may be thinking if we can just make some of the right moves, the rookies are ahead of schedule. If we can make the right picks and then find the right young man, which that's what everybody's looking for, I understand, then we're going to be in a Commander situation last year. but you don't want to look at it and say, let's bring in a bunch of guys in 2027. Like, I look at 2026. I think the runway would be, get me a young guy, let's see where this goes. Get me a reclamation project even, and let's see where this goes with a young guy. Hint, hint. Then, okay, let's bring in some guys to protect him. Let's make sure we're taking off. And then let's see what we do in 2026. 2027, maybe it changes a little bit, but I don't want to just bring in a bunch of different guys the way that Washington did and kind of bog it down if you want to do that. So the more I talk, the less faith I have in either team. Either team. I don't think that this is a we're doing it right, they're doing it wrong situation. I think these are two teams headed to the same place. They're just doing it a different way. I got no faith.
I get that. I wouldn't have faith either. If I were a Jets fan either, I wouldn't have a ton of faith. But I do know one thing. The only way out of this is the draft. The draft is going to be the only way out of it for all these teams. You're not going to free agency your way to, stardom and to Super Bowl contention. It's got to be through the draft, and the Jets just opened up their possibilities and gave themselves more of a chance than the Browns did.
But it's the same old characters. If the Chiefs somehow did something like this, if the Ravens somehow did something like this, I'd be paying close attention. But it seems that the teams that always like to do this, Jets,
teams
Browns,
drafting at the top of the draft,
Washington, look at the NFC East right now. The Dolphins, those teams that you always see doing that, they're always near the top of the draft all the time. Losing teams just continue to lose. It's a body in motion. 216-474-0092. Did the Browns make a mistake yesterday by not moving like the Jets did? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work on the absolutely free Odyssey app. And it's a tell you what is a mistake, not giving a call to Window Nation.
palm of your hand. Find it in your app store. True North stores and True Rewards. Fast, friendly, clean.
Whenever you need to talk about the Browns, we got you covered. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Coming up at 8 o'clock, we go around the AFC North. So I got to think about this. I wrote at the top of my notes, fight desperation. I can't think about this. I gotta really go into the weeds here. I gotta fight desperation on how I would do this. Because, let me ask you, okay, we're in different modes here. I wouldn't have made the trade for Deshaun Watson. I didn't think that Baker was long for here, but I didn't know how we were going to get out of the situation. All right? That said, that's that. That's in the past. I got to look at this and going, okay, I wouldn't have made this decision to bring in Deshaun Watson, so I'm not the one who has to answer for it. Me personally. Right? Right. Okay, so how do I take this situation here? All right, they haven't made any trades. What do I want to do to lead this football team forward? Because you have a Jets team that you just said it. They got themselves a new general manager. He's looking at this going, this thing ain't going anywhere. We're going to make the decision now. We're going to pull the plug. We'll find other players. We got to get the offense going. We really need to find the right quarterback, and we got to get this thing going in the right direction.
And that having some good young talent on defense doesn't really equate to winning football games until you have the offense figured out.
Exactly.
Does that sound familiar?
Exactly. That's it. I mean, it's true. You can have a great defense, but you can have a great defense. You just can't have an historically bad offense. It's unwatchable. It's an unwatchable offense. And you went from this plan of quarterback of grandeur to it was boomer bust. It was absolute bust. So now what do I do? All right. Are we operating are we operating that Andrew Berry is going to be let go or not? Because you could very well say that at the end of all this, well, Andrew Berry doesn't want to be the guy to trade for Deshaun Watson and be the guy who traded away Myles Garrett, the same guy to do that. You can also look at it like Jimmy Haslam and go, you're not going to trade away my players because I don't know if you're going to be here or not. That's a thing that we're fighting here as we try to navigate our way through this, is that everybody's yelling about the owner having his fingers in the pies, and I got Mike Florio saying his spoon is in the soup, in the stew. He's got a spoon in the stew. Okay, but if you guys own the Browns, what would you guys all do right now? Do any of you trust Andrew Berry or Kevin Stefanski? So if you guys all own the Browns, you guys wouldn't do that. Yeah, most of you would fire them and move on. But that means you're taking control. You are into the situation. You're in it too much. Okay, well, we all got to think about it that way. So if they're not going to make a move because we don't know if they're going to be there, say you're new and you're taking over the Cleveland Browns. What's your plan after this year? Because they ain't going anywhere after this year. So whatever sets at the end of this year is where they're going to be. Draft-wise, draft capital-wise, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can make moves, I think, during the winter. I think they're all on board during the winter, or they're all on the deck to make a move during the winter. But man, I got to really sit here and think this thing out.
So now we weren't able to take advantage of this kind of a market because we don't know if our organization is going to be intact.
I think so.
That's a terrible way to go into a trade deadline.
I think so. But wait a minute.
That's how you lose out. That's how you let teams like the Jets get ahead of you.
But you just said a week ago that you weren't going to trade Myles Garrett until the winter.
No,
that's what you brought up.
I would have traded. I would have seen what the market was. Of course I would.
Well, I'm sure they took a look at the market, but maybe you're still not going to do that during the winter. Because, again, do you trust Andrew Berry to make the trades? Do you personally?
I think he's made some decent trades.
Okay, then maybe they've made a mistake, and we need to talk about that.
I think he's really good. Hold on. I think on paper, people are going to roll their eyes at this. I think he's good at extracting value on paper from an analytical sense. I think that's one of his strengths. I think if this doesn't go well in Cleveland, that should absolutely be part of his future.
So you trust him to make the trades. You just don't trust him to execute the draft picks.
No, and I don't trust. What I don't trust.
One draft class is not going to save the other five.
And I like this class even before I saw him play football. So this was the first one that I was on board with. But I do have to say, the draft is just one portion of the responsibilities of a GM. I do not trust Andrew Berry to run an organization and to manage an entire organization. I think
So-
having 4 quarterbacks come to camp this year and having 2 quarterback competitions, having 2 timelines, young and old. Are the Browns old or are they young? Well, it depends on who you talk to. What? That doesn't make any sense.
So
those are the things that I do not believe in him at all.
Then you just said it. For all those reasons, then I don't think they made a mistake yesterday. I still think Myles Garrett will still be, if you really wanted to squeeze the trigger, I think Myles Garrett at the end of this season, God forbid something terrible happens, I still think he'll be worth the same 3 first-round picks that he was right now. Denzel Ward is probably worth the same first-round pick that he was before. 1 first-round pick.
You're always 1 concussion away from that.
I know you're always 1 concussion away from that, but you're 1 injury away from a lot of guys. I have to look at their top end of their talent.
He's got a history. Like I don't know what his value. He's turning 29 in April. I'm not sure. What do you think his value was?
Well, do we know?
Hold on. What do you think his value was related to Sauce?
I think, well, if Sauce could get 1 first-rounder, we could definitely get, or 2 first-rounders. I think we can get 1 first-rounder for Denzel Ward. But when you're talking about concussions, I would look back at you, like if you're on the other side. One, I don't even know what the market was for Denzel.
Yeah, I don't know either. That's why I'm asking.
Or where there were any offers or conversations. I'm sure there were. How heated was it? I don't know. But let me ask you, but let me point this out. All right, I got 2 guys that are worth first-round picks in my football team, Myles and Denzel, okay? And Myles, I still think Myles' trade value is going to be just as high in the winter. You're telling me all these things that I can't fight about Andrew Berry, which means that I don't think that they made a mistake during this trade deadline about about this class and about being able to move on from Myles, because I can still get the same return with people who they're going to be new, so I'm naturally going to want to give them more trust. People I trust more, or if I were taking over the job myself, I'm going to obviously trust myself than I would Andrew Berry. So you can bring up the trade. Okay, a lot of people can trade Myles Garrett for 3 first-round picks. I think you, Anthony Lima, if you just went in there and took the phone, I'm sure a lot of teams would line up and trade 3 first-round picks with Anthony Lima. So it doesn't take Andrew Berry to trade Myles Garrett for 3 first-round picks. Then you have to think about everything else, and all you brought up was just a big indictment against Andrew Berry. So in that case, because of that, and this is definitely me doing handsprings in my head, this is why you did not make a mistake yesterday. If you are one of the people who do not trust Andrew Berry, which is many of you, then I can't say you lined up and made a mistake, because I don't know if he's going to be gone. And if he's not going to be gone, then you'd be really nervous going, all right, we got all these draft picks, but I still got the same guy drafting them. And he's had 1 good draft class, but he's had 5 other ones that have been scattershot at best.
That man, it just seems like them we're in limbo as an organization.
Okay, but when you have a new guy who probably comes in February, when you have a new guy that comes in February, you can still trade Myles Garrett. You can still trade Denzel Ward. You can still trade all the other guys you want to trade. And you will still be in a cap situation that's bad, but no one's going to expect you to be pretty good in the first place. And then I could use those draft picks and I can use that capital if I wanted to on building a nice young offensive line and doing it the way that everybody wants to do it. And then I could take a guy, and really, if I really wanted to do it, I'd take a couple of those draft picks, and I don't think I'm trading first rounders, but I'm definitely giving a call. If you want the Ken Carman layout to this, I'm giving a call to the 49ers and seeing what they want from Mac Jones and seeing if I can't get something together for Mac Jones, or maybe even Brock Purdy for that matter, but probably not, because I don't know if you could really swing that with all the money that's out there. So I would like to make some sort of a deal there, if we can make some sort of a deal, and bring in a veteran quarterback, and then I'll take another guy and I'll just sit him. Because if we're going to sit here and we're going to grind over all these quarterbacks that are coming out in the draft, I don't know, I think we can all agree that do we all need to start them week 1, or is that just old style thinking now? The new style of thinking where you have to start them week 1, I don't know if that's true anymore. I think we've kind of come around on that. We're going, hey, let's wait a second here. We don't need to just throw this kid out there because he's a first-round pick and we have to pay off on that. Let's see where this goes. I'll let the game come to him. That's not me being desperate. That's me being as pragmatic. This is the first time I've been pragmatic about this in weeks. This is the first time my brain has not been scrambled about this situation in weeks. And if you think that my brain is still scrambled, yeah, that's how bad the situation we're in right now.
So we know this. We're playing the Jets this week. The line has shifted like 4 full points. We were underdogs before these trades. Today, as the league and Vegas think now the Jets are tanking, the Jets fans are going to be rooting for the Jets to lose this week. How should the Browns fans feel? That was a very long pause. I thought you'd be resolute.
So I always reach this point in the season that goes off the rails, and I've reached it many times. What?
I've got my recorder ready.
I've reached this point before, and God willing, I hope I won't reach it ever again. We have reached the point in the season where I am no longer mad if they lose. I'm not. Oh,
Owen?
Shut up! No, don't you
Owen?
dare! Don't you dare!
Oh, you do it with me?
No.
Whoa!
I'm never, ever.
Put it on the headline, Joey.
Don't do it.
Headline it.
Joey, don't do it. Mitch, don't do it. I'm never going to celebrate losing. It's never going to happen. And I'm never going to hope that they lose. It will never happen. You hear me? Ever. I don't want to hope to lose because that's all losers continue to do is they lose and they want an excuse to be lazy. And laziness is hoping that they lose.
However,
Because it takes, as in the words of the great Anthony Lima, and I'm speaking right into the camera right now so everybody can see me, and the words of that guy right there, what have you said many times? Any idiot can tear down a franchise.
easiest thing to do.
It's the easiest thing to do. Tearing it down's easy. Building it up takes skill. So I'm not gonna root for them to lose because it's a thing that a lot of lazy people at the end of it want to do. Let's lose. Let's just lose. We'll lose and we'll get a nice high draft pick. It's much easier for people to beg for more time on great ideas than, look at Paul DiBedesta for crying out loud. Give me more time for my great ideas. Yeah, what's that ever gotten us? Have we lost our 100th game yet with Paul DiBedesta, or is that anniversary coming up against the Ravens?
Oh, the race to 100.
Yeah,
I didn't know this was
the
a
Paul
thing.
DiBedesta race to 100. Somebody put his overall record there when he's in charge of the Browns in some capacity, even though we never really know what he does. I don't ever hope for losing, and I will never root for losing, ever. Ever. But, yeah, there's times and seasons where I'm not so heartbroken if they lose.
This is a major breakthrough.
No, it's not. You shouldn't be happy about that.
I'm not happy. It's just a breakthrough.
Because
it's a departure from
'Cause-
Ken's traditional way of thinking.
All right, 216-474-0092 is winning, now losing for the Browns on Sunday against the Jets. Are you with me? Do you actually want them to lose? Because I might call you lazy. I'm not going to call you a loser. That's Lima's thing. I might call you lazy. But it's winning, not losing for the Browns. And I don't think it's a better thing for the listeners. I'm going to tell you why coming up in 5 on the Fan. Friends, Ken Carman.
likely to East 9th. This is Joe Checkeye for 92.3 The Fan.
You'll hear the latest from Browns practice as it happens. Basket and Phelps, weekdays at 10, 92.3 The Fan.
Yes, we are. Hello. I know that was on the air. Yeah, Owen's like, we're back. I go, yes, we are. My headphones are on. Welcome back. Hello. Welcome back to the show. Is winning now losing for the Cleveland Browns? You said somebody said I would wear my flip-flops in? Why?
Yeah, well, I imagine it's on, the situation with the full-on Jets tank. We happen to be playing the Jets this week, and you finally opening the door.
But I've done this a bunch of times because I've had to deal with a bunch of terrible Brown seasons.
Well, opening the door to not celebrating a loss, but certainly you're not going to be down in the dumps about it.
No,
this week.
And that's the worst thing that's possible for anybody listening to the show or really listening to the radio. That's the worst thing. If I just let this wash all over me, I know what you guys want out of me, and I fight it every single day. It's amazing. Ken, you get so loud and you get so mad. Why? And then I hear the same people going, come on, fatty, let him have it. Come on, yell at him. I want you to yell at him because you can't yell at him, so I yell at him. The difference is, though, if I just go, well, that's the end of the season, here we are, you ain't going to get that now. You aren't gonna. There's a couple of scenarios where I think I might get mad, and they'll probably play out. So I'm sure there's a couple of blow-ups coming still throughout the year, but they have to reach that scenario. As of right now, I don't know if they will. And so once I just accept that this is who they are, and we're just going to ride this thing out to the year for the rest of the year, and I'm not going to be mad after they lose, okay. We've reached the point in the season where I am no longer mad if they lose. Go. We've reached that point of the season.
Wow, to hear it like that.
If they lose to the Jets, I'm going to be disappointed and I'm probably going to be disheartened, but am I going to come in here and waste my voice and waste my pulse and my good sense by yelling at them? Like I've done in the past? Like I do when I still have hope? No. Now, if they go out there and they do things like with Dylan Gabriel that I think are nonsensical, or they do things with Shedeur Sanders that I think are silly, if they roll out Deshaun Watson out there and he goes out and sucks up the room and the fans are booing him, my pulse might get raised. Because I know what you people want. I know that there is a destiny like Lieutenant Dan where my heart just explodes here and that's what happens and that's the end of me here on the air. I know that. I know that's what they want. But now you reach a point where it's like, hey, now we know what the rest of the season is. Because even if they didn't, like say Jimmy Haslam got involved, and you can't sit there and say he shouldn't get involved. Every single one of you would get involved. Every single one of you would get involved. You guys all call up to fire the head coach and the general manager. That means you would get involved. So if Jimmy Haslam got involved and said he didn't want his star players, the one he puts on billboards, the ones that he can actually sell tickets with, traded, because he doesn't want anybody else making these moves until that he puts those people in, all right, we just got to wait until the end of this year because we're going to have these conversations over the winter. They're not very good. They're not going to be very good. The rest of this season where we go, well, they got 3 more wins on there. Says who? Says how do we know they got 3 more wins on there? Now, they could have traded some guys and definitely wouldn't have had 3 more wins on there. But if you believe that they have 3 more wins on there, I think that a lot of these teams are circling you too. So we can't guarantee that. So we'll go into this offseason, and I will sit there and wait for the Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward conversation to start all over again. We'll see what they do with David Njoku, whether or not they want to sign David Njoku or get a compensatory pick. Now, I'm not necessarily sure he's a first-round pick. I don't know how it works now since he's been in the league for umpteen years, but maybe we'll get a compensatory pick out of him. I would like to sign Wyatt Teller to an extension. I would like to sign Alex Wright to an extension. I would like to do both those things. I think Alex Wright is a fine young player, and I would like to bring him along. I would love to keep Wyatt there because I just need somebody I can count on my offensive line.
They can't have a clean sweep going into next year.
And that's why, and I heard Albert Breer yesterday, that's why you really couldn't trade away Wyatt Teller because you still got to, you at least still want to evaluate whatever you want to evaluate with Dylan Gabriel again, and then you still want to evaluate Shedeur. So if you want to evaluate Shedeur, I'm not going to put Shedeur out there without Wyatt Teller. when the rest of my offensive line, good God, you get another injury, I'm bringing in a guy off the street. And when they were playing, like, I know it worked once with Blake Hans. Once it worked. It probably wouldn't work this time around. 216-474-0092. Now, winning is not losing for the Browns. I don't want them to lose. Rooting for them to tank again is lazy. Rooting for them to tank again is it's not even where you're fighting to try to find an easy way out. They've tried to find the easy way out, and somehow they've always made it harder. Them, the Jets, the Dolphins, they always make it harder on themselves when they lose. The only thing,
Kenny, the thing that I would see that I would say is a win out of a win is if, we always talk about, do the rookies look really good? Well, unfortunately, Schwessinger's not going to play, right? What's the deal with Judkins? Is he going to be able to go? And then, the one I'd really be looking at is Dylan Gabriel. So this is where it gets interesting. Mm-hmm. If Dylan Gabriel plays really well, if he has his breakout game, that's a win, right? He's a rookie. You drafted him. Breakout game.
I don't think so.
Well, you haven't seen anything close to that yet. Why would that not be a win?
I don't have faith that there's going to... What, a breakout game against who?
Against the Jets this week.
Please.
Well, wait a second. We played Miami.
Please.
And he wasn't able to break out of it.
I'm in evaluation mode here. If he has a breakout game against the Jets, I'm still going to go, all right.
You won't be celebrating
hand
that?
to God, I will...
Yeah.
What's your definition of celebrate?
Yeah, look,
I will celebrate a Browns win because we get so few of them, but there's no way I'm going to sit there and think that we have light at the end of the tunnel because he beat the Jets after they traded away two of their biggest defensive stars.
Does that show any cohesiveness with a new
Breece Hall's having a public pity party out there. Are you nuts?
A cohesiveness with a new play caller? You don't think there'll be some Browns fans that will be excited about that?
Yeah, and I'll say, I'm not going to dump on what you're thinking. Let's talk after the Ravens game.
I don't think Ken Carman on a Monday is going to be poo-pooing a Dylan Gabriel breakout performance.
Write it down in perpetuity, my friends.
I don't even know this guy I work with.
Maybe I'm just going Hollywood Hogan all of a sudden. Maybe I'm the third man in. Because I'm going to tell you right now, unless he goes out there and throws for 404 touchdowns, which he ain't, unless he goes out and does that, no. I am sick and tired of being desperate myself. I'm sick and tired of jumping from some crazy idea to another crazy idea. This is the most clarity I've had in weeks. Okay? Weeks. I am sick and tired of trying to find ways out of this situation that I didn't even help create because I didn't want to make the trade. See, that's why they'll get their anger, because you're going to accuse me of things. That ain't going to happen. Nope, not with me. Ain't going to happen.
No, wait.
Nope.
I've never heard Ken like this. You want to talk about a breakthrough.
If they win on Sunday, I'm glad they win on Sunday. But unless he goes out there and does Steve Young things, and he ain't going to do it, no. My opinion does not change.
Boy,
not at all.
This kind of
that is a career backup you're putting out there, and I'm not going to say anything different until he actually proves it against a decent football team.
This will sound to some that you just want to see Shedeur, and you don't want Dylan to succeed because it puts off Shedeur.
No.
It holds him off.
It
buys him more weeks.
It buys him another week. And
week to week.
I'm not just going to sit there like this if he goes out and beats the Ravens, who are a better football team by far than the New York Jets. If he beats the Ravens and plays well, and there's no crazy acts of God that happen out there, I'm going to give credit where it's due. I'm going to go, okay, maybe I'm changing a little bit on him. But I'm not going to sit there and let the Jets fool me. How many times have I made this season already and made this team make me look like a damn fool? Ain't going to happen. No, not for the rest of this year. I'm an excitable boy. I love winning, and I love the sweet taste of victory, even though we only get it so few times. So, yeah, there might be a Super Bowl Super Browns on Monday just because the people want it, but I ain't going to line up and do it. It ain't going to be the first thing I say at 6 o'clock on Monday morning. You can bet your ass on that. No.
Man, think of how much has changed in a week.
You guys want to be big picture? I'm going to be big picture.
Ken's looking for wins by any means necessary. Now, I deliver you a breakout performance by one of Andrew Berry's picks.
I will take a win.
Ken's like, no,
I'll take a win.
Doesn't do it for me.
I will take a win. But if what do you want me to do? You want me to anoint him?
Now, wait, what if it was
Shedeur? You're not going to talk me into looking like an idiot.
Sanders playing this week? How would you feel about it?
I think Shedeur Sanders has a higher ceiling.
But wait, how would you feel about it? Just tell the people how you feel about it.
If he went out there and he won?
If Shedeur had the performance I'm talking about for Dylan Gabriel, how would you feel if Shedeur authored up the exact same performance?
That's fantastic. Let's see against the Ravens.
I don't know if I believe this.
That's fantastic. Let's see against the Ravens now.
I absolutely do not believe
Well, then you don't know Kenny Carman. Buddy,
I don't know him today.
I can be a pretty big, fat stick in the mud.
This is a new Ken Carman.
216-474-0090.
What happened?
If you
What
don't believe
happened?
me, you go ahead and call
What
me out.
happened in the
I
atmosphere?
swear to God.
Elvis
This is
would
where...
do that.
No.
What
I
happened?
swear to
Walking
God.
Monday morning,
What has
and it
changed?
would just be.
No.
I want to know. Has something changed?
No.
We got our
What's
guy.
the stat line?
We
What's the
found
stat
our
line?
guy.
What's the stat line? What's the stat line? Give me a stat line right now for Dylan Gabriel.
24 of 31, 325, 2 touchdown passes.
Okay.
Ken's going to poo-poo that.
325.
Yeah.
He's going to throw for 325.
Ken's gonna poo-poo that.
Okay. We playing Ignatius or we playing the Jets? That wasn't a shot. Put in a different high school team.
sounds
I'm
like a
sorry.
shot.
We playing Kirtland or we playing the Jets? Are we playing Kirtland or are we playing the Jets? Okay. 325? Okay. He going to throw for 325 and 2 touchdowns on Sunday. Is that it?
I want to know, did something happen in our... Was there a sea change in our country last night? Did something change?
Oh, God. Here you go.
Did something change? Because Ken sounds like
Can
a different person.
guys, can I just
I know he's
have-
watching the news right now and seeing results on the bottom of the screen. Did something change
Can I
last
just
night?
have some common sense? Can I just have a little common sense? Can I just have... Guys, come on. You guys are driving around. Seriously. I'll open up the phones. 216-474-0092. None of you guys believe that. None of you believe that, unless your last name is Gabriel. None of you guys believe that he's going to do that. And so I don't have to act like that because I know it ain't going to happen. They might win 13-10. He'll throw for 163 yards on the umpteen different passes, I'm sure, and they're going to average about 3.5 yards a pass. Oh, we found our answer, did we? Okay.
Robert says Ken has
no.
gone Christmas Clark Griswold on you for sure.
No.
It's a new day.
The guys, this is as clear-headed as I've been in quite a while. It feels great. I feel exuberant right now. 216-474-0092. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. I'll let you guys decide whether or not you believe me or not. Is losing good for the Browns? I don't want to lose. But if you think I'm going to come in here and say everything's fixed after Dylan Gabriel doesn't have that stat line and they win, you, sir, are nuts on the Fan. Peter and Company Jewelers and
been that bad. I'm not moving on from him after 4 games. Let him have the bye. Let him have a bad game against the Patriots. I would give Gabriel at least 2 more games out of the bye. If it's trending in the wrong direction, well, then maybe Shedeur does get the final 7 games. And if that's the case, we'll say that this season will have unfolded almost identically to how I thought it would.
Catch Odyssey NFL insider Ross Tucker on Afternoon Drive every Wednesday at 4. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Ross said that last week? I forgot. He doesn't think he's been that bad.
Does not.
Is he accidentally watching Doug Flutie tapes or something? What do you mean he hasn't been that bad? What are you talking about? A lot of respect for Ross Tucker. Erase a phrase. You haven't been that bad. Okay. Yeah, guys, I'm as clear-headed as I've been. You guys think that this is the ramblings of a madman. I'm as free and easy and ready for the future as I have ever been watching the Browns. And I know there's still more to go. We are not out of the woods, not by a long shot. But you asked me, well, Ken, aren't you going to come in here and celebrate if they beat the Jets and Dylan Gabriel plays well? I go, he probably... I don't know if it takes that much to play well against the Jets after what's just happened. They'll probably put together some game plan and get in his way. But if they beat the Jets, I'll be glad because they won. I'm not going to root for losing. That's never going to happen. I'm never going to do it. Somebody needs to hold something to a standard here. Wanting to lose has gotten us nothing but more losing for the last 30 years. It's the last thing you can root for because you have nothing else to root for a team that doesn't give you anything in a season. So when you root for losing, that's the only thing you can do is try to look for the future. The problem is that the people actually in charge of it, who perpetuate it, they're just begging for more time. That's all that becomes. It's always easier to a person who doesn't want to put anything together to ask for more time than it is to actually do the work. In the great words of the great Anthony Lima, at least on that day, any idiot can tear down a football team. And there's still more tearing down to do. But now might not be the right time to do it. I ain't getting rid of Wyatt Teller. I still got to put Dylan Gabriel back there. And maybe I'll be surprised. Maybe he will throw for 325 and 2 touchdowns the way that Tone kind of gave me the scenario up. He probably won't. But if he does, I'll still come in here and say, okay, great outing. You had a very nice outing. Now let's see what you do against the Ravens. Let's see what you do against a team that is trying to actually do something this year. Against a team that came in with expectations that's trying to get off the mat. Let's see what you do there. Because I don't think you're going to do much. But if they just go out and they beat the Jets 17-10, and it's more of the same, no. We'll play Super Bowl Super Browns, and I'll be happy.
Will we?
That
Are
they
you
win.
sure?
I'm sure you guys will.
It sounds like
I'm sure you guys will, just to make me look bad, because I might sit there and go, great, that's great. And I'll be happy, but I'm not going to... Our issues are not going to be solved. God, I mean, how many times have I carried the water for players that I thought were going to be good that just ended up being terrible? Terrible. How many times when am I going to learn my lesson? When do I get a chance to have my lesson learned? Because you guys never let me do it. Donovan Peoples-Jones. Oh, Ken, well, this is a 6th-round pick and you only got 1,000 yards. Hell, that's the one sort of pseudo-win Andrew Berry can have out of the draft for that stuff. No, it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. I'm glad they didn't make trades, because I still want to evaluate where they're going to be with some of the young guys. And plus, if you guys don't trust Andrew Berry, which it seems 90-something% of you do, then why would any of you trust him to go ahead and make those trades? Unless, boy, you really think he's really good at tearing a team down, but not really good at building it up. Okay. If you don't trust Kevin Stefanski, okay, fine. Why would you? If we're not doing that, then fine. Let's get to the end of the year. Let's see if they make the changes that we deem necessary, and then let's see if they make some trades. And it might elongate this situation. But damn it, just because the Jets decided that they wanted to press the nuclear option, they're in a different place than we are. They got rid of Joe Douglas. We have not gotten rid of Andrew Berry.
Yeah, they
got rid
GM.
of their head coach. They got a new one.
They have the new GM that came in and said, we are not as good as the prior regime thought we were. Mm-hmm. We have to go in a new direction.
216-474-0092. Don on the road, you're first up on the Fan. Hello, Don.
Hey, Ken, how you doing this morning?
Doing wonderful, Don. Go right on ahead, friend.
Hey, I don't think you're going far enough, buddy. This is a must-win game for us.
It's a must. Well, tell me why.
If we're not tearing them apart by halftime, Dylan Gabriel needs to go, and Kevin probably too.
Well, I mean, they're still pros. They're still. I know.
Get Shedeur in there and see what he can do.
Well, he didn't even. We got to find out what he does today because yesterday is a day off by the league. And Don, thank you for the call. If he's got a bad back, he ain't going to play. Bailey Zappi might be your backup, right? Am I right?
Well, he's on the active roster now.
Right. Bailey's on the active roster, correct? Okay, so
had to be put there, right?
Yeah, so I think Bailey Zappi would probably be your backup. If you just want to say Bailey Zappi needs to go in there because you need to see anything other than this, okay, fine, because they're 2-6. So if you want to go ahead and say that, that's perfectly fine too. They're both career backups, so they're just backing up each other. Dave and Rittman, you're next up on the Fan. Hello.
No, we don't need to lose, and we don't need to get rid of Miles either. Because look at Dallas. You know, they got rid of Parsons, and now they're trying to fix their defense, and they're having a hard time doing it.
Well, they're all over the place. So they're a great example of just going around in a circle there on defense. I got to tell you that, Dave. I got to see where we're at the end of the year. You know.
Hey, another thing.
Yeah.
Another thing. Dylan can't do the Stefanski offense. Okay, we can see that.
Yeah.
Why don't they let him be an option quarterback where he gets out of the pocket so he can see what he's doing and either throw the ball down or option it off to the running back or whatever?
Dave, I got to tell you what I saw on Sunday, 2 Sundays ago against the Patriots, and thank you for the call. I don't even think he could do that, buddy. I like at that moment, I don't know if he could play the position at that high of a level.
Well,
I don't know what type of offense you want to put him
more
into.
than just the quarterback to be an option guy.
Of course
and an
you do.
option offense.
Yeah, well,
yes, you do.
Breer also on the afternoon show yesterday said that Tommy Rees is going to be bringing in potentially more college concepts. So maybe you'll see that with Dylan Gabriel. Maybe you'll see some of that stuff.
No, because it'll probably make it easier on either Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders, yes.
Just a quick clarification. Bailey is not on the active. I think he has 3 weeks that they can bring him up. Remember, they did that with Flacco when he first came.
Okay.
Flacco was technically on the practice
Well,
squad.
if Shedeur can't go, you have to have somebody in there as a backup.
He'll be up there
as
the backup.
Ain't going to be the other guy.
Not yet, but the window might be opening.
Breer was talking about that yesterday. We'll put that up there for you here in just a moment. Here, Breer 01, 216-474-0092. Here's Albert Breer yesterday on Afternoon Drive about such an issue here with Tommy Rees in the offense.
Like, I'll be honest, it's been like one of the worst offenses I've seen the last few years in the NFL, right? Like, I mean, it looks like in certain ways they're having trouble running what's called. I think what this can do, it takes a little bit off of Kevin. It allows him to take a little bit more of a global view of things, and it gives Tommy a shot to show what he's got, and maybe be a little bit more creative in some of the things that they're going to do. Maybe put in some more like college elements, which is his background. Put in some of the stuff that maybe has been melded into Kevin's offense over the last couple of years, and throw a little bit something different at the defense. I think it also, like in a season like this, can help like rejuvenate the players a little bit. Like, okay, we're going to be able to do some new stuff here. We're going to be creative in certain ways maybe we weren't before. And not to say Kevin's not creative, but like maybe it gives you the opportunity to do some things Tommy likes. In a season like this one, I don't think it's a horrible thing. And, we'll see where it leads the Browns.
I totally agree with Albert. I think it's all up for grabs. I think that this is an attempt to try to clarify things. I think that this is Kevin trying to admit that, yeah, maybe his offense, he's got questions with his own offense and whether or not the guys that he has at quarterback can actually run that offense because, hell, Joe Flacco couldn't seem to really even run that offense. Now, again, I know that they have different weapons in Cincinnati, but again, who's in trouble for that one as well? So we throw that into the mix. I think it's all up there. I think Tommy Rees, I brought this up at the end of the show yesterday, and you didn't bat an eye at me. You did not say that was stupid at all. Where I said this is a team that has tried to overly try to learn from their mistakes. They end up in the same place, but they almost overcorrect some of the mistakes that they've made. Like, I guarantee you, if they draft a quarterback in the first round this year, which I'm almost certain they will, there's going to be a time, more than likely, because these quarterbacks are up and down, you may look at this and go, this guy ain't the guy. They are going to run him into the ground to make sure that he doesn't turn into that guy down in Tampa again. They will definitely do that. I can guarantee you like my life's on the line.
Yeah, they're going to
unless he turns into Johnny and can't actually
play. They're going to overcorrect, and they're going to stick with somebody that's probably not all that good.
Maybe. And I'm telling you right now, don't think for a second that Tommy Rees being the offensive coordinator here for the final 9 games of the season is not some sort of a audition in the heads of the ownership. You said it yourself. Kyle Shanahan, young, bright offensive mind, walked out of this building off to San Francisco. Everybody misses him. Kevin O'Connell, young, bright offensive mind, walked out of this building. I think he ended up in a couple of places. Ended up over there in Minnesota. Does a good job over there in Minnesota. Don't think for a second that Tommy Rees at 33 years old, and I'm not over the moon. I'd probably rather have a Kubiak if we're going to do that, one of the kids there. But don't think that Tommy Rees can't impress them enough where he becomes the guy. If he's able to get these, Dylan Gabriel looks lost. Dylan Gabriel looks like he's never played the position at times. In that Patriots game, he looked like he wanted to be anywhere else for a moment. And if it's Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders, and either of them look that much better, and my cynicism ends up being wrong, yeah, Tommy Rees is going to be considered. 100%. They will definitely do that. 216-474-0092. 8 o'clock, we're going to go around the AFC North. I'm just telling the truth of how it is. This year, this is an evaluation, and I'm never going to take anything off the table. From what Dave and Rittman had said, I'm not going to take anything off the table in the wintertime. I'm glad they didn't make the moves right now because I still want to evaluate some guys with my prime players. I still think Miles is going to be worth the same amount he's worth right now. I think that Denzel's going to be worth the same amount he's worth right now. If we end up losing David Njoku, we'll still get a compensatory pick somewhere in there back from David Njoku, which hopefully will be commiserate with what we were going to get back. Somebody yesterday on the Fan, or 2 days ago on the Fan, said second round. That's nuts. I don't know who said it, but they're nuts. But maybe we'll get something commiserate for them. And you're telling me that there's some people who might be upset if Dylan Gabriel plays well on Sunday? All right, you're going to have to explain this to me in 5 minutes on the Fan.
Anthony Lima for QC Kinetics, where I do have
Rankings announced last night. Ohio State is number 1. The Buckeyes 8-0. Been the top-ranked team of the AP poll for the past 10 weeks. Rounding out the top 5, it's Indiana, Texas A&M, Alabama, and Georgia. Ohio State will be at Purdue coming up on Saturday afternoon. Don't miss the Browns preview show tonight, 7 o'clock, right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
We'll still be surf-siding with the Cavs coming up here in just a bit. Darius Garland on his way back tonight, it seems. He's listed as questionable for the game against the Philadelphia 76ers. Also, Lima has been fighting the good fight within the quarterback situation. We'll get to that here in just a moment. I will never, ever, ever, ever consider. We lost our dog Sam a year ago in June, the day after the gala, the big gala that you and I went to for Kevin. And it was a terrible day, and it was a terrible weekend. And we miss Sam dearly in our home. Still, to this day. Like, people get over dogs pretty quickly. Some people do. We haven't gotten over Sam. I would never, ever, 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 ever consider cloning him and bringing him back in some way. It feels very Pet Cemetery. And I saw that Tom Brady story about him cloning his old dog because his dog died, and he has a clone of his dog. And I go, we just got to accept something here. Tom Brady, he is not the example for me to do so. If you want to do it, fine. I'd be afraid it would come back as an evil version of my dog. Sam was a great dog. I feel it would be unfair to the new dog because I'd just be comparing the new dog to Sam and calling him Sam 2 or something like that. And then I'd be afraid like there'd be an evil version of him there where you'd attack me in bed. And let's just say, Tom Brady's a vampire. In so many ways, Tom. You take a look. Next time when he does it, who's he do the games with? Is it Joe Davis? Or who is it that he does the games with?
Usually Kevin Burkhardt.
Kevin Burkhardt, thank you. Yeah, watch him on Fox. Look at them eyes. That is Bela Lugosi there. He's a vampire.
You don't think he looks good?
He looks good. Bela Lugosi looked good. Tom Cruise looked good in Interview with the Vampire. He's a vampire. That guy thinks he's going to live forever. Him cloning a dog, it is unsurprising, and it creeps me out.
Well, I saw basically that was the reaction of basically everybody I saw yesterday. But what are you getting when you clone the dog? What are you specifically getting?
Apparently more memories with the dog. You don't have to say goodbye.
You're getting a genetic twin. I've done a lot of research in the last hour.
Okay.
You're getting a genetic twin, so you're not getting the same mannerisms and all that, but the genes are the same. But it says like some people are disappointed because environments are not the same as when the first dog came up. So
right,
especially if
nature versus nurture.
Especially if you go and you got one when you were just starting out as a family, right? And now your kids are old and grown and they don't play with the puppy like they did with the last puppy, right? They're going to be different. They're going to react differently. So
I agree with you. But go ahead. What were you going to say?
It's insane the amount of money.
Yeah, how much is it?
Somebody said it was surprisingly affordable on my social media.
Surprisingly affordable, $50,000. That's surprisingly affordable.
That's insane.
There's one company in America that does it. They're in Texas, and this venture capitalist group that Tom Brady is a part of acquired them yesterday.
Okay,
that's why he's putting out there that he did that.
How convenient. So wait a minute, even the dog's a business relationship?
Yes.
The man's a vampire.
Yeah, I think everything Tom Brady is doing has to do with business.
What game is he on with Kevin Burkhardt this week?
Probably not a Browns game.
Okay, yeah, you go ahead and watch that game.
I don't want him in the dog pound.
When they do that opening shot.
Is he going to clone Big Dog?
Wait, I just want you guys to watch that game and tell me when they do that opening shot of him, tell me that man sleeps in a bed. He don't sleep in no bed. He sleeps in a crypt. There ain't no way.
More bone ladies?
Would you ever, would Sarah want to clone Milo?
No, I don't think so.
I'd be afraid, like we had a dog, Jake, who gave me the scar on my nose years ago. We were wrestling and he got mad and he nipped me on the nose. He was a Cocker Spaniel and Jake was overbred. Do you we got him from a house and they had papers and his name was Jacob Wimpy Wiggles Carman. That was his middle name was Wimpy Wiggles. It's true. And he was a nasty bastard to a lot of people. And he was overbred. I'd be afraid of that. Wouldn't you be afraid of that? Like the turns dogs mean.
Well, that's what I'm trying to understand the difference between because people are saying that the disposition could be totally different.
Yes.
So
there's also been
it's the same thing that happens when you go to the same breeder.
They've had to put animals down because of genetic defects and things like that. So then I don't know how that comes out monetarily, who's responsible
Is it even
for
more
everything.
money? Yeah. How does PETA feel about all this?
Oh, they actually said we support. No, they didn't.
No.
Oh boy,
I don't think so.
And that's where we let that story go. I was going to tell a story about how Jake died, but I'm not going to do it now. We go about last night, coming up at 7:45. So I'm going to hand it over to you now. There is a theory you told me about that was bandied about, and I went, well, okay, it's just going to be Anthony Lima with Ken Carman now. I want you to take her over. You right on ahead.
I saw yesterday, once it was becoming evident what was happening with the Jets, that now they are springing straight ahead into Tankathon 2025. I mean, the point spread went from the Browns as underdogs. We talked about it all day yesterday. Like, how could we be underdogs to the Jets? Well, we're no longer underdogs after those moves. We are now favored. I think it was a 4-point swing. You rarely see that.
Yeah, I've now got Browns minus 2.5.
Yeah, unless a quarterback is injured, you rarely see any kind of a swing like that. So Vegas just thinks the Jets are going to quit. They're not trying to win. And you saw some of the other players and their reactions with the Jets, like Breece Hall. I think even Daryl was able to weigh in on that in real time yesterday with Jonathan in the afternoon, which was a absolute delight hearing that on the air. So, reading tweets.
Oh, you mean this?
The fabulous thing on X right now is the 5 stages of grief for Breece Hall. The latest, sick about my brothers, man. Happy for them, but man, I'm sick right now. Well, no, that's that. I'm quoting.
No, I got what you're doing.
That's exactly.
No, funny when you said it.
Well, no, that's what he wrote. So I wanted to be specific and relaying what he wrote while also clarifying he means brothers.
You did a good job of being specific there.
I felt awkward saying it.
Yeah, you should have. It sounded as awkward as you felt.
Sick about my brothers, man.
Jonathan.
Well, no, that's that. I'm quoting.
No, I got what you're doing.
That's exactly.
No, funny when you said it.
Well, no, that's what he wrote. So I wanted to be specific and relaying what he wrote.
Daryl has done that for 13 years of the last 14 years, and he has always done it like that. I'm just clarifying what they wrote.
Well, no, that's that. I'm quoting.
No, I got what you're doing.
That's exactly.
No, funny when you said it.
And we've all just stared at each other and stared at him, and then we've also sent audio of Daryl over explaining everything to each other over 13 years, and finally someone snapped in. Got to. Anyway,
so clearly,
well, no, that's that. I'm quoting.
No, I got what you're doing.
That's exactly.
No, funny when you said it.
So the Jets, they seem to be down and out about their chances. Their fans were just, oh my God, we're definitely, even if they supported the trade, they're like, why even watch the game?
I think their fans are ready. Yeah, I think their fans are ready for the future. Yes.
Yeah. So that happened yesterday, and then I noticed there was a fraction of the Browns fan base that wasn't too thrilled about what that means for Sunday's game between the Browns and the Jets, more specifically. How now this has become an advantageous situation for the starting quarterback this week, who they thought would be on his last legs and would be on his last game before getting removed so their quarterback could take over.
I'm not going to act like we're talking to only Browns fans here, because that would be totally a lie. I know that we're talking to a lot of Shador only fans, and they jump in and they will.
I see him in the chat right now.
I got to tell you, it does seem like we've even if this doesn't work out with Shador, I hope it does. But even if it doesn't, it seems hopefully we might be able to keep a few of them. I know a lot of them will just move on about their lives, and we thank you very much for the time that we spend together at this moment.
To a CFL fan base that has a YouTube Live?
You gotta. You say that, and then you're going to make me defensive, and then we're going to.
Toronto's got a big fan base. They'll welcome it.
I already spent. I told you I want to send Mitch up there to Sportsnet. So, anyway.
But you do get it, right? Like when you want your guy to get an opportunity,
guys, have some comments.
You want the other guy to be bad.
Guys, look at it. What did I just tell you, though? Listen, I'm a Browns fan. I want any quarterback ever. There's been quarterbacks I've liked personally. There's been quarterbacks that I've really disliked personally. I I'll tell you this. I wanted them all to be good. I am tired of looking for answers. I'm sick of it. He ain't going to be the answer. It's a matter of time. If he plays against the Jets and they win, like, first off, I don't know how well he's going to play. If he plays well against the Jets and they win, fine. But I told you this an hour ago, and I'll say it until the cows come home tomorrow and Friday as well. If they go out and they beat the Jets, I'll say, great, you beat the Jets. Now show me what you do against the Ravens at home, young man. It's only a matter of time. He's a career backup. There's no reason for me to say terrible things about the young man and root against the young man. I hope I'm wrong about it, but I'm not going to be. I hope he does well. There's no reason because of that for me to be mean-spirited because I'd like to see Shedeur Sanders at some point. We'll get to see Shedeur sooner and later. I disagree with Ross Tucker. Ross says he hasn't played that bad over 4 games. I don't know what the hell Ross is looking at, have to say. But eventually, the chickens are going to come home to roost. Just because they lost Quinnen Williams and just because they lost Sauce Gardner ain't going to change much, and all of a sudden he's going to throw for 400 yards. If that were the case, then the Jets should be much better than 1-6 or whatever the hell their record is right now. If they could do that and all of a sudden he's going to throw for 400 yards, my God in heaven. They should have the greatest defense. They should make the 85 Bears look like the 2025 Bengals right now. So I don't want to hear any of that.
But you've seen it, right? You've seen the reaction to how bad.
I actually haven't. Okay, I really haven't. I swear to God.
Because my algorithm is definitely force feeding me these consistently 24/7.
I thought your algorithm was just forcing you the mayoral race in New York.
Did pay some close attention to that yesterday and what happened in Virginia and what happened in other places. School board in Lake County. Anyway. Listen, the important thing to note is that they are loving every cut-up on the internet, the Shedeur fans, of how bad Dillon Gabriel's been. And they have been making fun of him. Heck, was it Shiloh that actually made fun of, he compared somebody to just how short Dillon Gabriel was at some event?
I didn't see that.
Oh, yeah. So they're enjoying this. They are absolutely loving how bad he's been. So if he's good or has a good game, they feel like it's going to be another excuse for the Browns to not play Shedeur Sanders, where they think he's being held back, where they think he's being sabotaged, where they think the Browns are conspiring against their guy. As crazy as it sounds, that is how they feel.
There's no conspiracy against your guy. I agree with what Albert Breer said yesterday. At some point, it's going to get to a point where all he has to do is just look good in practice. All he's got to do is look like he can just conduct the offense. He does not have to look better at some point. He will not have to look better than Dillon Gabriel. He'll just have to look like he can conduct the offense, and they will eventually go to Shedeur Sanders. But the game against the New York Jets ain't going to change nothing. Whatever happens, I mean, if he goes out there and he's just terrible against the Jets, maybe Shedeur would play against the Ravens. But I really think that this is 2 more weeks almost no matter what. I think he'll play against the Jets. I think he'll play against the Ravens. I don't think I think he's going to do as bad as maybe we did think. We'll give people that about without Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner. But I don't think it's going to make a big difference. Again, you brought up numbers for me that I said, what you wanted me to say?
I said 25
I'm going to celebrate or not celebrate.
325, 2 touchdowns.
And I just said those aren't realistic numbers. 325 and 2 touchdowns is just not realistic.
Unless you are a big believer in the new OC or the new play caller, I should say.
It'd be great. It would make Kevin Stefanski look absolutely horrific, but it would be great, but it ain't going to happen. So I don't have to do that. And fans, you guys don't have to. Why be so petty? Why root against Dillon Gabriel? Ain't done nothing to me. I don't need to root against Dillon Gabriel. He's not done anything to me. I don't need to root against Dillon Gabriel to get Shedeur Sanders in there. It's just going to happen. So I hate to tell all the Shedeur fans, and I appreciate you guys watching us, but you guys don't need to be mean towards Dillon Gabriel. It's going to happen. They're playing the Jets on Sunday. The Jets are a tanking team, but he ain't going to look that much better.
In a way, what Ken is saying is absolutely meaner. He's basically saying he has no chance.
I'm not being mean. I'm being honest.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but that to me is probably even more mean. Like, you don't think he has a chance in hell to develop or become a better player.
No, he can be a better player. He can be a better version of a career backup. What I saw against the Patriots, he can certainly be better than that.
No, you're just putting a limitation on his career.
Yes, of course I'm putting a limitation. The whole reason why I do want to see Shedeur, it's not about this unbridled love where I just want to drink his bathwater or anything else like we always get accused of. No. If we're 2-6 and you drafted this young guy, and he does have a massive fan base. I'm not going to deny that. But you drafted this guy. There's one, I liked him because I liked his dad. Obviously, that's true. We've been over that many times. Two, there's definitely got to be a higher ceiling. There's so many things that would tell me he has a higher ceiling than Dylan Gabriel. Three, you can't say you're not curious. You're curious because the media, ourselves included, we had him going in the first round. As we got closer to the draft, well, maybe he's not going to be top 5. Well, maybe he's not going to be top 10. We didn't think he'd fall out of the day. We didn't think he'd fall out of night 2. And then he gets drafted in the 5th round. I want to see who's right. I want to see if the media was right, if the fans were right, or the NFL was right. Because clearly there's a chasm between them. But I don't need to be mean towards Dylan Gabriel. I'm just being honest towards Dylan Gabriel. And if the anti-Shedeur fans or the fans that love Dylan Gabriel, which I'm sure there are a few, can't handle that, well, then I'm sorry. I don't mean to tell you the truth in a nasty way because I'm not trying to be nasty. But I can only tell you how I see it, and how I see it as a guy who's playing well before he should have played. Now, that's not necessarily his fault, but it's playing way before he should have played. I'll claim some responsibility just as a commentator on that. I was wrong and thought that Joe was used up. Maybe it's on Kevin. Okay, I'll meet you halfway on that. He's playing early. He looks overwhelmed. He shouldn't look overwhelmed after some time. I would like him to take a seat and look at the field and get his breath back and be able to take care of himself. I hope that the bye week has done that for him. But no, I think that he can just be a better version of a backup quarterback. For Shedeur Sanders, I don't know what he's going to be. But I think that I got a better shot at a guy who can be a decent-armed, accurate franchise quarterback than what I would have had with Dylan Gabriel. And even the people who swear up and down and cuss us out on social media who claim to hate Shedeur, I think you guys know it in your hearts. I think you guys know it in your heads. If you were gonna pick a guy who has a better chance to be a franchise quarterback in this league, I know there's plenty of guys who go, whoa, look at the whiteboard. All that. No. Come on. You know which one you would pick. Even if you hated him, eventually he'll get his crack. It's not going to happen after the Jets game, I don't think. It might happen after the Ravens game. But it's going to happen. I don't need to root against Dylan Gabriel for it. Coming up at 8 o'clock, we'll go around the AFC North. Pony will be on. He has new jewelry that he's wearing on his nipples. I don't want to make a big deal of that. Do you want to make a big deal of that?
Not at all.
Also, Ken Wyman going to join us. James Rapine also going to join us. 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore. Locked on BengalsSI.com. Also 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh. They will all join us coming up at 8. Coming up in 5 minutes, Ohio State is number 1 because quality matters on The Fan.
XTEND, AV.com, extend.
So much can happen around the globe that we never hear of.
Embarrassing. We got to be better on defense.
It won't matter till April. I think we know that. Y'all gonna write us off. We could go 82-0, no one would care.
He's a piece of crap. The kid, he sucks. He's sucked his whole career.
I got rumors about him, how he couldn't please his wife, and so now he's divorced.
Put a damn winning team on the field.
Now, the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima give their thoughts on what you might have missed about last night.
One of those clips in About Last Night is about people yelling in NASCAR. There's a NASCAR clip in there about sucking his whole career. Can we do that on the podcast tomorrow?
Yeah.
On the emerging podcast scene? I got some things to get off my chest about how it went down this year. Go ahead there, Mitch. I apologize. Go right on ahead.
That's all right. Sounds good. We start here as the Cavaliers return to action tonight at home against the Philadelphia 76ers. Got a report yesterday from Shams Charania that Darius Garland could make his season debut as soon as tonight against the Sixers. Now, they asked head coach Kenny Atkinson at Cavs practice yesterday about the matter. This is what coach had to say.
See how he responds. Really close. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'll just keep it as really close.
He also said that if Garland comes back, he will not be limited in minutes. Is that the right move of the Cavs to bring back Garland?
Well, just the fact
if
that
he's ready to go, then but I just don't want him to hurry it.
The fact that there's no limitations leads me to believe they're not rushing this at all. Like, if it was already a bunch of stipulations, I'd be like, well, why are we doing this? What's with the big ramp up? Because of this and all the stuff, the videos I had seen before the season started led me to believe that we would be in this good spot. And look, I'm really excited about tonight's game. The only thing I'm bummed about is Philly played last night. So I like the Cavs to get tested a little bit. And I know it's hard to do that at this stage of the season. We still are dealing in early November. But, Joel Embiid played last night. He's not going to play tonight. Which, some Sixers fans might say, hey, we're better when Joel Embiid doesn't play.
That's a part of why the Cavaliers are currently 10.5-point favorites in tonight's contest. And Philly blew that huge lead last night against the Bulls, who are now, 5-1 on the year? It's crazy.
Yeah, 6-1. 6-1. And Okoro had a great night last night. But, they don't have their front court is very, very weak. So this should be a Mobley game. Now, I don't know if Jared Allen's going to play, but this should be a Mobley game. And now getting Darius back, that should free up some of the lobs that we've been missing out on. Remember, Evan Mobley's only had 7 dunks so far this year, which is a dramatic decrease from where he's normally at. And really, his at-the-rim finishes are way below. And their offense has been kind of stuck in mud. So hopefully this will lead to an injection of real Cavs basketball.
I would hope so, but I don't want it to go back to the old way. But I'm telling you, talking to you and talking to a couple buddies, it's not where I'm putting too much on Evan, but I think I'm not seeing it as much as where, like, hey, look at Jalen Tyson. What can he do that Isaac Okoro didn't last year? What can DeAndre Hunter do for this team that he didn't really get a chance to do last year? Can that make a difference for you? And I think, that's a really good point, because there was a bunch of guys like that you lost to, and maybe it could be different for you this year. So as much as a big deal, because, again, I think he could be a 1%er if he was able to put it all together. Maybe he won't, but a guy like Tyson can make a huge difference for you, too.
Really quickly, before we get to the next story, Red Panda made her appearance at that Bulls-Sixers game last night.
Whoa.
Her first game back from injury.
It's good to have the legend back.
Is she on back-to-back?
Should she have an apprentice yet?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. I wondered over the years if there was an opportunity missed to franchise this out and have, 10 Red Pandas.
Do we have a situation like Color of Money, where Red Panda goes against
Color's
and then...
red.
Huh?
The color's red.
Well, yeah, but technically yes, but you get what I'm saying. The old hand has to beat the new hand. Does that happen? Are there dueling giant unicycles at one point?
Well, something's happened because she was struggling about 8 years ago.
And then she came back.
She had trouble finding her footing in the business. Now I think she's back. And so
she's gone through several ups and downs.
It's for her to have a resurgence, a Joe Flacco-like resurgence at this stage, would be something to watch.
To see her live, guys, I saw her at the University of Akron at James A. Rhodes Arena. It was breathtaking. I will never. That's back when her rate was lower. Now it's.
Has she done this with a live orchestra? Can we get that? Can we get the Cleveland Orchestra?
Blew my doors off, man. That's a hell of an idea.
Speaking of red, last night, Scarlet and Gray, number 1 in the college football playoff rankings. Ohio State just ahead of Indiana and Texas A&M at 2 and 3. This is Mack Rhodes, who is part of the selection committee for the college football playoff from Baylor, talking about why the Buckeyes got the nod over 2-3.
We really felt like that Ohio State and Indiana were close. Two teams, both in the top 5. Offensively, two teams, both in the top 5 defensively. But when we looked at tape, we felt like Ohio State a little bit better up front on the offensive line, and we thought they were better defensively.
I'm still nervous as hell about the Big Ten championship matchup coming up.
Well, I think everybody is. But, hey, speaking of Akron, 6 degrees of separation right there. Just talked about James A. Rhodes Arena. They won last night on CBS, where you got to hear the CBS college football theme to start off that broadcast. They're now 4-6, the Zips are. And Mac Rhodes, former Akron AD. Yeah. 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
It's all about Maction. Here's the one thing, and I know Booger McFarland was arguing for like Texas A&M. Ohio State is going to get the nod because they won the national championship last year. Their defense seems better than last year. They're going to get the nod. Here is the interesting one.
What's that?
Notre Dame. Notre Dame at 6-2 is number 10, and their arrow is pointing up. Miami, 6-2. Their arrow is pointing down.
It just depends on when you do
Miami is 18th. Notre Dame is 10th. Does anybody remember what happened when the two teams actually played?
I know, but timing
is
everything.
How much?
Timing is everything.
Shouldn't it even be a tiebreaker at this stage?
I know. I understand what you're saying there, but timing is everything, and I don't think.
Just admit it. Notre Dame has an automatic selection every year in this tournament.
No, if they lose another one, they're out.
Are they?
Yes.
Yeah. Are we positive?
Yes. For the love of God, yes. Come on.
Sure about that?
Oh, you're full of it.
They play Navy, Pittsburgh, Syracuse, and Stanford. If you lose one of those games, you're done.
Murderer's row.
That's what I'm saying. If you lose one, you're done.
So they get the benefit of not being in the conference. They get the benefit that they have. They're part of the structure. That they have a special interpretation of the rules, so they get in every year. And now they have the same record as a team that they lost to, and they're 8 spots ahead of them. Come on.
Miami also has Q's. NC State just got a big win over Georgia Tech. Va-Tech, Pitt. So I don't know if they're. By the way, it's November. I don't know if they're done losing. They're the new Clemsoning. Actually, Clemsoning is the new. Well, Clemson is just losing now. But they're the new Clemsoning. So hey man, Miami. I know they're behind, but timing is everything. Yeah, there is a little bit of a Notre Dame bias.
Real quick, this is Jonathan Gannon saying Ignatius Grad, and Arizona Cardinals head coach, yesterday announcing his QB1.
As it relates to the quarterback in Seattle, Jacoby will start, and Kyler will keep working on his health bucket. I do like what the offense is doing right now. We've operated well, and we'll go from there.
Any quick thoughts on them picking Brissett as QB1?
It's a health bucket.
He has been better. He's definitely been better. Hold on, we got to go at the hotline.
Oh, what's the hotline here? What are we doing?
Let's go to the hotline.
Go to
Okay.
Click on the hottie.
Hello.
Let's stop talking about the health bucket here. Sometimes these things present themselves, so I'm going to go right now. I'm talking about the age-old, how old do you have to be to stop trick-or-treating? How old do you guys have to be before you stop wearing hats backwards?
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, Keith is making his debut.
A very necessary call.
About
Mitch,
last night.
Counterpoint?
Mitch, or what are you going to say?
It is a free country. I can wear any hat I choose to. And today I'm wearing the Cleveland Cavaliers hat because they're bringing back the classic
You
look
didn't answer. You didn't, as is the case a lot of times. You didn't answer the question.
Well, wait a minute. You have one of your highly paid afternoon show hosts who always wears a hat backwards.
Yeah, and they can play it too.
Okay,
meanwhile, Keith is on a car phone.
Yeah. Keith, thank you. It does look. By the way, it's leaving indentations.
I know this
on the side.
It's like a helmet.
It was 3 buttons today.
Oh,
it's a small hat.
Why would then just?
How many hats do you have?
Why did you take it off? Because Keith called in and said
he did.
Probably about 45 at this point.
How many? Okay, you have 45 hats. Mm-hmm. A pretty steady rotation at this point.
I should probably just stick to the ball caps here at this point.
Well, if you have a big head, though, why would you wear a snapback backwards?
Because I like this style hat.
It looks like a cartoon.
These will look good forward.
It looks like Goofy, like hanging on the back of a train.
But look how it looks forward. Look at this. Isn't that insane?
Then don't wear it.
But
then don't wear the hat.
What are kids doing with the brims these days?
I don't know.
My kids have chopped all the brims off.
He's nearly 30 years old.
I'm 28 years old.
You're nearly 30 years old. You're in your late 20s.
I'm much younger than you.
He's
fine.
down.
By the time I was in my late 20s, I had way more sense than what you have right now. Good God,
Mitch! Don't let him dictate.
I'm not trying to dictate to him. I'm trying to give him advice.
You have your persona. You have your identity. Embrace it. Don't wilt to the pressure.
I'm only trying to help him. Gary would say the same thing. His father would say the same thing.
I don't think Garrett cares at this point.
What kind of hats does he
Gary
wear?
care about it? What kind of hats does he wear?
Visors. He's a big visor guy.
Ooh.
Even with the I hate to do this, Dad, the receding hairline. It's his look though. It's his look.
I'm not a visor guy.
No. A lot of coaches wear visors.
Yeah, and I don't trust coaches with visors. I'll admit it, I don't. Brian Kelly wears a lot of visors. What do you guys all think of him?
Feels like a Gus Malzahn move.
Yeah.
Josh McDaniels visor.
Yeah, there you go. I'm telling you, there's a lot more unsuccessful visors than there are successful visors. John Gruden, pretty successful visor.
It's pretty
Bill
funny to think
Belichick's wearing a
about.
visor. Not very successful
It
right
is
now.
pretty funny to think about a visor.
Yeah.
All of my poker dealers. They have the green see-through
The
visor.
provoker on the late, great Les Levine show would wear one of those things with the crazy hair.
Yeah.
It was like a hat, but it looked
That's
like the
right.
visor thing. Yeah.
Wait, your poker dealers, do you get to play with any NBA players ever? You get invited to those?
Ken Wyman, James
it rhymes
Rapine,
with snoncy.
Andrew Filipponi joins us next as we go around the AFC North on the Fan.
Anthony Lima.
Alabama, and Georgia. The Buckeyes going to be at Purdue to take on the Boilermakers coming up on Saturday. Don't miss the Browns preview show tonight, 7 o'clock, right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Catch Afternoon Drive with Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin live on YouTube each and every weekday from 2 to 7 p.m.
It's time to go around the AFC North. What week is it? Week 9 or week 10?
9?
Week
right?
9? Week 9?
10.
They all run together when you're 2 and 6. Ken Wyman joins us, 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore, as the Ravens are at Minnesota at 1 p.m. Have the Ravens saved their season, Ken?
Temporarily, Lamar Jackson's back, and they don't play anybody good for a minute. So
you trying to say we're not good when we meet next week? Is that what you're trying to say?
Ken, what a cheap shot.
I wasn't speaking about the Browns specifically, but look at the Ravens' schedule. Like their problem, not that this means a damn thing, but they're going to be favored in every game as you look at it right now, assuming Lamar's healthy, until they play the Packers after Christmas. So, like, it's the schedule lightens up for them. I'm still not sure the defense is a heck of a lot better. They acquired Alohi Gilman, which allowed them to put Kyle Hamilton closer to the line of scrimmage. Draymond Jones they acquired 2 days ago. We'll see how he helps. And they signed Carl Lawson off the street, who had 5 sacks for the Cowboys a year ago. So I guess it's incrementally better. And, you know, you have Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson wasn't even close to 100%. And he looked rusty on Thursday and still was a heck of a lot better than what they were putting out there before him.
I was going to ask you about Draymond Jones, Ohio State, St. Ignatius grad here in Northeast Ohio. So was there some excitement? He's having a pretty decent year. He's got, 5 sacks, 4.5 sacks?
4.5 sacks in the last 4 weeks. Was there excitement? I think the fan base always wants the Ravens to take a big swing. Like, well, why didn't they trade for Quinnen Williams? Well, the Ravens don't operate like that. They're not going to trade a first and a second for a guy with a massive contract. But is there excitement? Probably not. Excitement's not the right word, but the fact that they did something, I think, has the fan base intrigued.
Should we have tanked?
You know, it's funny. I am actually surprised. And when those 2 trades were made yesterday, guys, when the Jets traded Sauce and Quinnen Williams, I was like, okay, so now we're going to see some teams trade a lot of assets. But at the end of the day, teams don't want to do that. It's weird. I think the Browns should get as many assets as you can, because you still need a quarterback, let's face it. And so load up for assets that can help you go get a quarterback. But I don't understand. I know we got some younger GMs, and it's been more aggressive than it used to be, because let's be honest, we'd be lucky if we had 2 trades at the deadline in years ago. But it's a little better, but I don't think it's ever going to be like baseball.
All right, Ken, how were Ravens fans after the Buffalo-Kansas City game? Did they feel like they're not that far away, or did they feel like that was a different level of football than they can get to?
Ooh.
So it's a good question, but I think honestly, because the Ravens are sitting at 3-5 and they have bigger fish to fry, I think most Ravens fans are like, get back to above 500, get back to a point where it looks like they're a playoff team, and then they can worry about Buffalo and Kansas City. If they were 5-3, I think Ravens fans would have been paying closer attention. But quite frankly, because they're sitting where they are, this has been a year where the fans aren't as worried about them, because they're not. I think there's still a lack of confidence that this is a playoff team, so they're not worried about what Buffalo and Kansas City are doing. In years past, I think they'd be paying much closer attention to it.
Ken Wyman, 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore, as they get ready to take on the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota, coming up on Sunday at 1 p.m. We now got to go to Cincinnati, where there is, in the words of Family Guy, danger in Cincinnati. And James Rapine joins us, Locked On Bengals, as well as SI.com. Is Duke Tobin going to get canned? Is Zach Taylor going to get canned? James, go.
I certainly think if they keep trending the way they're trending, Zach Taylor, both could be in danger for sure. And I don't expect or anticipate anything in season, but for this team to look like it does on defense with all of the resources they put toward it, with Zach Taylor pushing for a new defensive coordinator and getting it just 10 months ago, and in all of the factors that have gone into it, I think both guys could be in danger.
Well, let's call it what it is. I mean, Lou Anarumo's kicking ass and taking names with the Indianapolis Colts. All he was a fall guy for Zach Taylor and Duke Tobin and that terrible football team. How do you feel that you got hoodwinked and bamboozled and just blamed it on one guy when your defense was that terrible?
Well, a year ago, if you would have listened to Locked On Bengals, Ken, I said that, hey, you start with Zach and you go from there and decide if he's the guy worth building around. And I think that's a big part of it. Now, offensively, has it worked? It has worked. He's not the offensive coordinator. He's the head coach. And I think explaining that to people in town has been interesting. People are starting to understand it, I think. But, I agree with you. Look, Lou Anarumo is a good coach. I think Al Golden is a good coach. He didn't just forget how to coach after what he did at Notre Dame over the past 10 months. And so something has changed, and it's the personnel. And he can't go out there and tackle for them. They're the worst tackling team in NFL history.
James, is there a record that you could slip to where Joe Burrow would say, we'll see you next year?
Oh, I mean, I don't know if Joe Burrow would say it, but they should say it for him. And I think that's the unfortunate part if you're the Bengals over the past couple of weeks is you score 80 points. If you're 5-4 ahead of the deadline, it's very clear you're in the mix in the AFC North, and instead you blow a game to the Jets, miracle comeback against the Bears, and you can't hold on. And so, it's sort of the opposite. Instead of 5-4, or even 4-5, where it feels like the division is within reach, it's the other way, where you don't want to add at the deadline. You don't want to be a team that is pushing some of those chips in, because you might have a top 10 pick in the first round. And so if all of those things are in consideration, Joe Burrow not coming back this year is certainly within the realm of possibility.
You know, you're right. I don't listen to Locked On Bengals, and I should, because I would have a better grip on this question. I wouldn't have to ask you, what is the concern or what is the desperation for a Bengals fan where they look at Joe Burrow's career? And, he had the terrible knee injury when he was a rookie. He had the wrist injury a few years later. Now he has this foot injury. Yep. I mean, what's the thought of you're wasting, quote-unquote, prime years of Joe Burrow?
I think that's why people are so frustrated. It's not before Joe got here, it wasn't like the Bengals were known for their winning ways, And so I think it's that. It's you have this franchise all-time guy. And it's really, really hard to get one of those. And when you have one, you got to take advantage of it. And the 2021 and 2022 seasons are just getting farther and farther away. The Logan Wilson trade, I think, was a reminder of that. People upset, probably not because of the player he is today, but just what it signifies. And that's another player on that defense that was a key piece of why you got there. Is no longer in town. And so, wasting Joe Burrow, that's a major, major concern for fans.
Should the Browns be tanking right now? Should they have traded away Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward?
I would have been tempted with the way the prices were. What do you think they could have gotten for Myles? 3-1?
Yes.
I do, too.
Okay.
So, yes. The answer is yes. If you could get 3-1s for a 30, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
James Rapine. Locked on Bengals, SI.com. They're on a bye week this week. We now welcome in Andrew Filipponi, 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh, as they get ready to head on over to Los Angeles to take the Chargers on Sunday Night Football, 8:20 p.m. Eastern. Andrew Filipponi with new nipple rings. Andrew?
They're out.
You took them out already?
They're out, Tom.
Yeah, I did.
That's quick.
Aren't they going to get infected?
No. Actually, it's better this way. You leave them in for a long time, they get pulled on, they get touched. People are tempted to touch them. That's how infections happen.
Like in the bedroom?
You get them in and out.
Yeah, you and your wife didn't even have a little bit of fun with it?
Maybe.
Well, would they still be tender if you just got them done like last week?
I mean, you could do whatever you want to them right now, Ken. They're right back to normal. The nipple's ability to recover and recuperate is astounding. The human body is really an amazing thing.
All right, ask him some football.
How did you feel that you were able to win the Steelers Super Bowl last week?
Well, it did feel like that. There's no doubt. They prepped for that game, and they approached that game like their season was on the line. And to their credit, they won, and they won decisively. And the $160 million defense performed like one for one of the few times this season. And it inspired some hope here that they can put that kind of performance out there again. But it had been defensively, I think, the most underachieving, disappointing campaign we've ever seen from a Steelers defense. And they, at least for 1 week, righted the ship against an offense that was being compared to the 2007 Patriots.
What are your thoughts when I say the name Juan Thornhill?
Juan Thornhill is so bad, guys, that Kyle Duggar got here on Thursday and played all but one snap at safety with no knowledge of the defense whatsoever. I think Jalen Ramsey would just tell him coming out of the huddle, okay, do this. Didn't even know the play call names. And Jalen Ramsey got moved to free safety permanently, and Mike Tomlin abandoned his jack-of-all-trades Swiss Army knife approach with him. Chuck Clark had some illness that has kept him out for days, turning into weeks. And Jabril Peppers had a quad injury, and they still did everything in their power to make sure Juan Thornhill didn't play.
How's Jack Sawyer doing?
I love Jack Sawyer.
Why?
That's a football player. He's a five-star guy, as Mike Tomlin called him. What a steal he is going to turn out to be. Such a big man, plays the run so well, and if he develops anything in the way of a pass rush move, then I think the Steelers got a real diamond in the rough on day 3 of the draft. Maybe the Jack Sawyers of the world, and here's a negative comment, maybe guys like Jack Sawyer developing in the 4th round kept and prevented the Steelers from trading for a wide receiver yesterday, which is something they really needed to do, and instead they got a little stage fright when the Jacksonvilles of the world and Seattle started giving up 2 picks for Rashid Shaheed and Jacoby Myers.
Is this a game that's not just a must-win, but should win because of the offensive line troubles that the Chargers have?
Well, it's not a must-win, Ken, because they got a 2-game lead in the division, and they don't need to beat out the Chargers for a playoff spot necessarily. They just got to be better than the Bengals and Ravens. Now, I think to stave off Baltimore, they probably need to win games like the one on Sunday. Sure, I wouldn't call it a must-win, though. I mean, I think Minnesota can beat Baltimore, and if Minnesota beats Baltimore, well, then the Steelers are still going to be in really good shape to win the AFC North.
Okay. What is the gap? I asked Ken Weinman this out of Baltimore. What's the gap between the Steelers and the 2 teams we saw battling that everybody thinks is going to be the representatives in the AFC Championship game, Kansas City and Buffalo?
What did he say?
Yeah, he was kind of
wishy-washy answer.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I don't like that. I think the gap's a lot closer than people thought going into that game. Very close, as a matter of fact. That's why you probably saw Indianapolis do something pretty dumb. I think Buffalo still lacks weapons in the passing game. I think their secondary played a shockingly good game against the Chiefs, but I think still leaves a ton to be desired, and Ed Oliver's out for the year. And Kansas City's probably got the most talent offensively, but they didn't want to give up a pick for Breece Hall, which I thought was shocking. Their offensive line can be up and down, and yeah, so I think that, and they're not in the playoffs if it started today. So yeah, I think that the gap is closer than people made it out to be before that game.
Pony, can I ask you a question without you being a troll?
I do that every time I'm on your show.
Okay,
so, yeah,
but I want to get down to brass tacks here. I want to be honest. I want some honesty out of you. Okay, not just you being you.
What have I lied to you yet in this interview?
Not yet, but I'm going to ask you a pointed question that I've asked other people, and I don't want stupidity out of you.
Okay.
Should the Browns have traded away Miles and Denzel and started the tank yesterday?
Well, what's the troll answer? Obviously, yes.
Just want an honest answer from you. That's what I want. I don't need any of the history or any of the other stuff. I just want to. I want honesty.
Okay. Myles Garrett is, 30 years old now?
He's 29.
Right, or is he still 29?
He's still 29.
Okay. All right, so he's got more sacks before turning 30 than anybody in NFL history. Okay, I've got your legions and minions like sending me that graphic from the New England
let's not
game.
talk about legions and minions. Let's just get down to the answer. What is it?
Well, I'm setting myself up for an answer here, Ken, which is, okay, what has that gotten you guys? What's it done for you?
But what about the prohibitive cap hit that it would take?
Oh, my God, prohibitive cap
I'm
hit.
asking you a question. That's all I'm doing. I'm not starting an argument here.
I'm not trying to fight you. I'm just giving you my honest reaction to it. If you get 3 first-round picks back for him or something along those lines, young player in there too, yeah, I make that trade. He ain't getting any younger, and you've won diddly-poo with him. So, yes, I'd look at a trade like that.
Okay. Andrew Filipponi, 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh.
He did it by the way. What was the by the way?
AFC North. What, do you want me to get him?
Yeah, there was a by the way.
Well, you there?
I want to do one quick thing. You there?
Yeah, what?
I heard the question you asked Rapine about Burrow.
Yeah.
Don't you think it's really crazy? You say they've wasted Burrow.
Uh-huh.
He's been to a Super Bowl and he's been to 2 AFC Championship games. The Steelers are playing Herbert on Sunday. Have the Chargers wasted him?
Yes.
Have the Ravens wasted Jackson? Have the Bills wasted Allen?
Ooh.
I mean, the Bengals get crushed, and Mike Brown's obviously kind of a joke, but they've come the closest to not wasting their quarterback of any of these AFC teams, and they get criticized the most.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
Are you auditioning to get on Lateral Hazard with Mulligan Stew?
What?
Unlike an audition tape.
I just want everybody to know that I wasn't the one who took the cheap shot this time, for the record.
See ya.
Goodbye. That was a great point by him.
Yeah.
216-474.
I got to give him that one.
0092. If we're going to evaluate, if they can evaluate, then so can I. And I'm going to start evaluating all that. And I hope yesterday was fun. Was it fun? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, live on The Fan.
All right, real estate market.
Tire Express and Total Car Care.
For tires and service, Conrad scores big.
Through November 21st, buy 3 Goodyear tires and get one free only at Conrad's. Plus, you could save up to $100 more with a mail-in rebate on select lines. Visit econrads.com for more details.
When you want the latest on the Browns, we're the station you turn to first. 92.3 The Fan is Cleveland's home for breaking sports news. Your teams, your station.
Cavs coming up 8:45. We'll go surfsiding with the Cavs. 8:45. That will happen because they play the Philadelphia 76ers tonight, and Darius Garland looks like he's going to be coming back. Let me just tell you this right now. It is like, can I just tell you guys in the last 24 hours how many damn texts I got over the damn St. Ignatius job? So many different rumors, so much innuendo, so much being said. Tone, you get more than I do.
Nobody is working harder than this show
to find
out what's happening here.
Who's going to be the next head coach at St. Ignatius?
Now, the question is this unfair? We do this all the time, like in professional sports. Are we being unfair to the teams that are playing football right now and are competing for a state championship? Is this in any way going to become a distraction? Is Ignatius going to try to pluck any of the current coaches who are fighting for their playoff lives? Are they going to try to throw a wrench in this? Is this unbecoming of St. Ignatius?
There might be some teams at a different level of football that might be a little bit distracted by this. This is a highly coveted job. Highly coveted. People like to tell us things. You and I have both been on searches for instances in the past. I wouldn't call you Worldwide West, but I would say that you've been a person to put the situations together in the past. Done a good job there, yes.
Well, will there be a point where people start to converge and meet on these things and backroom deals being done? And has that already happened? Or
over this job?
Yeah. It's a national search. Understand that. Yeah. It's one of the more prestigious jobs in the region.
Yeah. There you go.
In a football-crazed, tradition-rich state, the birthplace of football exists, and they're one of the most celebrated programs.
Indeed.
So you can bet there are going to be a lot of people paying attention to what happens there.
Did you think yesterday was fun?
So I want to ask you about this. I'm just going to pull something. I know you get mad. You get mad anytime I reference,
I don't care what
reference a big sports podcast.
I don't care what you do.
Well, let me get the Pod Save America one off here. So the Bill Simmons podcast, it says Crazy NFL Trade Deadline was the title. And I'm thinking to myself, was it crazy? Like, yes, Sauce Gardner was a 2-time Pro Bowler. Kind of fell off the last 2 years, if we're being honest, right? And then who's the next biggest name?
Quinnen Williams.
Quinnen Williams? Is that a crazy deadline?
That's a pretty strong deadline considering who made the moves for him.
Okay,
I think that's a pretty crazy deadline.
That's fine, but the Ravens, they're competing for a championship. What did they do? They brought in ho-hum. I think they made their Draymond Jones trade.
Jones.
I think they made that on Monday.
Okay.
Whatever. I just don't. If this is crazy, then we have wildly overrated the NFL trade deadline. If that's considered crazy,
wait a damn minute. You don't think 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner's crazy at the trade deadline?
I just don't. I don't think a corner. When I think crazy, I think of those past NBA trade deadlines.
But it's the price that's been given
up. The NFL doesn't do things.
When the power shifted. Well, that's the thing. We were told that with all the new young GMs in this league, some of them admiring like the NBA and the way they do business, and the NFL was going to get more progressive in their trades. Andrew Berry has done some pretty progressive trades, actually. But I was told that this was going to be the future of the NFL, that teams would take bigger swings.
It's not, but this is a big swing. What are you talking about? This isn't a big swing.
The Colts
giving up 2 first-rounders for Sauce Gardner isn't a big swing.
So does this change the Colts' win total for the season?
Yes, and
it doesn't. It didn't.
Well, hold on.
Vegas didn't change anything.
Let me go back to this.
Number.
Okay, you're right. You're possibly right. Hold on. I said yes too soon. I apologize. Let me go back to this though. I think you're misunderstanding. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, I'm just going to say, do the Colts have a franchise quarterback right now?
No.
So it's kind of crazy that they've traded 2 first-round picks.
That's the issue
without having the franchise quarterback and not trading for the franchise quarterback.
Were people sitting there in front of their TV with their jaw agape over Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner. I just don't think they were. I don't think those are big enough names.
Hold on. See, you got to make the right comparison here. I look at trades like I do when people sell their house in the neighborhood or something like that. Like you sit down and like Owen is Mr. Avon Lake. And nobody would ever think Owen would ever leave Avon Lake. I mean, guys, I told you, I went at Friday night touchdown. Everybody was saying hi to Owen. I was standing right next to him. No one said anything. It was amazing to see. He runs Avon Lake. It's a beautiful thing. I'm very proud of Owen. Very proud of Owen. You're in Bay Village. Who the hell knows what you do? I don't even know if you talk to your neighbors. I'm very excited to still be in Streetsboro. Mm-hmm. But when you're in a neighborhood and somebody sells their home and you go, they got that much for that? Like, come on, you don't sit there with your wife and go,
I guess I'm thinking more the player than what was given up. Like in the NBA last year, trade deadline, Luka Doncic, one of the top 3 players in the NFL. You don't get one of the top 3 NFL players traded
with Blockbuster. Those are different things.
Yeah, I'm talking from an entertainment perspective. I just don't think that's that entertaining to sit by the TV and watch.
This is not about entertainment. This is about craziness.
Watch the insiders all day. Do I think the power, the balance of power has shifted in the NFL? Because that actually has happened in the NBA.
That trade happened in the middle of the night.
Pau Gasol has gotten traded, at the trade deadline. You have seen James Harden, Kevin
wanting
Durant.
them to be 50 years down the road on this
Wait a minute, didn't it? Yeah, hold on. It just basically started these type of moves at the trade deadline. The second thing, it did or did not, the Luka Doncic trade happen overnight. It happened in the middle. I woke up to it on a Sunday morning, right?
For a trade deadline,
but
you had nothing remotely resembling that over the last. Give them a week. Give each deadline a week then, and tell me how entertaining that was yesterday. I think that's a big dud.
How many
I think
trades?
It's a bunch of Z's.
No, I'm not going to compare it to the Luka Doncic trade. The Luka Doncic trade was much bigger, but this is a big trade.
Think about it. This is why this was a dud of a trade deadline, and almost all of them are in the NFL.
The NFL is always going to be a dud of a trade deadline.
Wrong. So Owen agrees
because no, it is because you want them to trade today, and then tomorrow Sauce needs to be on the field.
Yeah,
that's what happens in the NBA. They can trade on Saturday night and then on Sunday.
It happened this year. Joe Flacco
trading Luka Doncic is the equivalent to like trading Justin Herbert in the middle of the season.
And I'm saying the NFL doesn't do that.
Of course, you wouldn't do that.
Well, and of course the NFL trade deadline sucks. That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't suck.
So think about it this way: for this to be a big trade deadline. Was a superstar traded? No. Okay, there's 32 teams. How many superstars are there in the NFL? There's so many of them. Second of all, balance of power. Did it shift in the NFL?
Right, talk faster.
No.
That'll fix it.
0 for 2, Kenny. Your trade deadline sucks. Stop trying to stick up for your bad sport.
Very easy over there.
You're going to be in timeout for a couple minutes.
It wasn't that angry to get over. You're not hearing what Owen and I are saying.
Go ahead.
When a move like that is made, like the Sauce Gardner move like that is made, again, you're in your neighborhood. You're nice. I don't want to move. Moving sucks. And then you go, they got that much for that? I go, so you're telling me all I got to do? I'm like, wait, all I got to do is slap a coat of paint over here on the living room and I could get, I get more than that. Like, that's the thing, is everybody else in the NFL, teams that are like borderline or teams that are like the Browns, I think the vast majority of Browns fans are gearing up for a rebuild. I think the Browns themselves are still trying to, we kind of made peace with the whole Miles ain't going nowhere. Denzel ain't going nowhere.
That would have been. That would have been a crazy, entertaining trade.
Hold on. We all made peace with that. But then all of a sudden, it was Sauce Gardner goes, and you're going, well, if they're getting 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner, I could at least get 1 for Denzel. If they're getting 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner, how much can I get for Miles? How much, you sit there and it's the thought of what you have with your own. Again, it's the same thing. Somebody gets that asking price for their house. It's like, well, I'm very happy here, but am I as happy as I thought I was here? And then you think, okay, and it's exactly like Owen said. Well, do they have a franchise quarterback that they know about? Hey, Ken, you can get that asking price. Are you sure you're going to move to a place that you just know you can move to, especially with the market? Like, you don't know that. That's what makes it intriguing.
Remember, we were talking about, well, would the Eagles give up 3 for Myles Garrett, right? But we knew those are back in.
Yes.
You don't know that that Colts pick this year, it's going to be a back end pick. But next year, you have no assurance that that's going to be a back-end pick.
It could listen. That
makes it a little crazy to me.
It could become a monumental trade. But what I'm saying is, did I need to be dialed into all the NFL insiders yesterday for Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner? The answer is no.
I did.
No, big deal.
I did.
That's a waste of everybody's time. And I'm sorry, we tried to promote the trade deadline in a big way. Adam Schefter was reporting the Browns are going to be big buyers. Wop, wop, boring.
I disagree with you, Anthony, but at the same time, when I switched over to NFL Network to find out what they were doing on the trade coverage and the trade deadline, it was a rerun of NFL AM or whatever they call it, cold pizza.
Even the NFL Network didn't treat that as a big trade deadline. They went to Mike Garafolo and some girl I've never heard of. That was in between reruns of the morning show that they have. Come on. Even the NFL's telling you, not a big deal.
That is not a good argument. That is a terrible bad faith argument.
I watched Two Life Stews yesterday.
That is come on. That's a media problem. That's not an NFL problem.
Sauce Gardner.
They traded all their good people for Mike Garafolo and a girl I've never heard of.
Mike Garafolo. What's the matter with Mike Garafolo? All right, is Lima right? It's not better than the NBA trade deadline. I never claim that.
Well, and
I never claim that.
The NBA trade deadline might suck going forward because of the new salary structure and the new CBA.
You had teammates of guys that got traded making public announcements about how they were disappointed by it.
Sick about my brothers, man. Well, no, that's that. I'm quoting.
No, I got what you're doing.
That's exact.
It's so funny when you said it.
Well, no, that's what he wrote. So I wanted to be specific and relaying what he wrote.
All right, the trade deadline suck. 216-474-0092. You just sound like you're mad that the Browns didn't do anything. If you just want to be entertained instead of actually trying to do the right thing for football, then fine. But you just sound mad that the Browns didn't do anything. We'll get to that question coming up. Also, the throwback jerseys are back. Darius Garland's going to be in one of them. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, live on the Fan.
If you are facing divorce, call court.
923thefan.com. Talk sports deep into the Cleveland night. Overtime with Jake Volnick. Weeknights at 7. Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Time for the Surfside Cavs report, brought to you by the fine folks at Surfside. Darius Garland coming back to your Cleveland Cavaliers tonight. Well, he's listed technically as questionable, but it seems that he's going to play. Kenny Atkinson was asked about it, said there's no minutes restriction or anything like that, which Lima says, you know what, that's a good thing. Means that he's not coming back too soon. Means he's ready to go, ready to roar, and we're getting going again. That's nice. Good. Glad to have that. I didn't want him to come back too soon. But I think that, you shift a couple of things where, okay, is it Evan Mobley? Is it more, not like where Jalen Tyson runs the offense, but you expect more of him doing the dirty work that you really couldn't count on with Isaac Okoro last year in the postseason. And I think that you've brought that point up. Several others have brought that point up. I think that's a great point to make. Great point to make. Also, the throwback jerseys and the throwback court are out there tonight. This is a non-cup game. Am I correct?
Right.
Non-cup.
Just a regular game.
Old Cavs game. But
cup games are like Fridays.
Yeah. We have a cup game Friday, but not today. But the old court's back. The old jerseys are back. Are you as excited about them as everybody else? Because I have a different theory to it.
About just the jerseys in general?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like to see that stuff. It's not like appointment viewing because of that.
I don't like I don't mind the old jerseys. I just don't like them as much as I like the old orange and blue. And I think part of that is that I got to realize, I think a lot of the people who really like the old jerseys, they're 20 years old. I'm 39. Okay? When I was a kid, when I was really young, they were orange and blue, the white jerseys, Brad Doherty, they delivered, the whole thing. Now it's LeBron James. Can't say Damon Jones as much, but you get what I'm saying.
Sure,
Mo Williams, Z, those guys.
Danielle Marshall, come on.
Larry Hughes for 3. You have those jerseys. That's what those guys remember. And we don't really remember them in that way because, you guys got to see some great memories. Those were your first memories to it. I remember how bad they were before in the black and light blue jerseys. At times with, hoping Andre Miller would hit a 3 to cut it to 26. And then that was real pressure having LeBron. People who were just born into it, it's okay. And then he came back and there you go. But to see how bad they were before and then LeBron comes here, then holding on to him, well, that was a whole thing.
Yeah, I will say,
that was a whole thing.
I will say that, the second LeBron run, they won the title. So it's they have different uniforms for every single era and different color schemes and identities. I think that's one of the hard things at the Cavs. It'd be nice to just have one, but now because they've won at different times, at different levels with different jerseys, different demographics, depending on your age, like you're saying, you have a different affinity towards that stuff. I still think there will be nothing better than that first run with LeBron because they went from total irrelevance and obscurity where I was watching. Remember, I was going to those college ID nights. Ken, we talk about that all the time. Mm-hmm. We loved basketball and we were watching all that stuff and no one cared.
Nope.
And it was a dark time in the Cavs era.
Family nights and all that stuff.
Yeah. We're talking about, even before Darius Miles. We're going back to the Andre Miller years. And they were just very dark years. Cedric Henderson, Chris Mim. Those were brutal years to watch them.
They were real bad, man.
And then to just get LeBron James. Just tank bad enough to get LeBron and instantly national television when that mattered. Today it doesn't matter.
If you were a 21-year-old guy, you have no idea. I remember Roadman would be on the air in the afternoon. He'd be like, this team, it's not guaranteed to be here. It's not guaranteed to be here because, attendance wasn't that great and things like that. And,
yeah, we didn't know what Gordon Gunn was going to do.
Yeah.
We had no idea if they were going to move the team.
Again, maybe I was a kid, and I love Kenny. Don't get me wrong. Maybe it was showmanship. Maybe he was dead right. I was a kid. I didn't know any better. I was scared. And then LeBron comes in, and it's changed everything. Basketball has historically worked in the city of Cleveland, but those were some lean times. And now, even when they've not been very good, they've still been the 18th in attendance, and now they're obviously it's a tough ticket to get.
Yeah, towards the top every year.
Yeah, basketball has been surprisingly good in this city.
And where other cities have had basketball and the ratings, it's been well chronicled, especially with baseball surge, that have gone backwards. Cavs have not. The Cavs have grown. And the support in this area is huge because they've won. They've won so much. I'm just telling you, if you go back to that time, you had to pinch me that we were actually one of the teams that were getting talked about on ESPN back then. And that's when it mattered. People don't really care as much today. The way we consume all this is different. But to get nationally televised games and to see the cityscape of Cleveland, that just wasn't happening. So I will always have, even though I didn't love those uniforms, I'll always have an affinity for those years.
Yeah. And that's what kind of got me into the whole, like, Cleveland being in the spotlight. Like, Cleveland's been in the spotlight now for a long time, good, bad, ugly, whatever it is. We've always made news, and that's what kind of got me used to that, because it's like, well, now that you have LeBron, there's no way you're ever getting out of the headlines. Just get used to it.
Yep.
And if you can't handle it, you can't handle it, then I guess you're not a real basketball fan. But that is the Surfside Cavs report. Can't wait to see this game tonight. I know that they're coming off a back-to-back, and that means certain guys might not play. Philadelphia, I'm talking about. That might mean certain guys might not play. They might not be tested like you want them to be tested, but I can't wait to see this game tonight. You'd think the trade deadline sucked, though, yesterday.
And I can't
compare it to the NBA.
Suck.
I'm not comparing it to the NBA. I'm not making that comparison. You think all NFL trade deadlines suck?
I just know that, I don't know whether it's people get bored with the fact that we're all on backup quarterbacks already at this time of year, so we have to drum up the trade season as some monumental shift in what teams could surge ahead for the Super Bowl odds. And I'm like, nothing changed yesterday.
Well, I just don't think anybody is ever going to trade a Luka Doncic type figure, because that means that's a quarterback. And I don't, like, the only thing I can think of is if somebody would have sat there yesterday and goes, give me Kyler Murray, I can fix him. Like, I know that they're like, Jonathan Gannon's like, oh, he's got to fill his health bucket, we're going to go with Jacoby Brissett. It's like, man, you got guys on the broadcast openly saying the Kyler Murray days are done, go to Jacoby Brissett. Like, that would be one where you look at it and go, okay, someone's going to call and say, we want to do this, we got a good football team, all we need is the quarterback. I know what you guys are thinking. That's not what I'm trying to say. That there is a team that'll go ahead. Bring us the Call of Duty kid. We'll fix him. We are going to fix him. That's the only thing I could think of that would go, well, okay, now we're stopping. But nothing's going to touch the NBA. But I still think when you get 2 first rounders for a guy like Sauce Gardner, when you get a first rounder for Quinnen Williams, when that's the Cowboys, when the Cowboys traded away Micah Parsons, and then you're trading for a defensive tackle like Quinnen Williams, and people are going, why didn't you just pay Micah Parsons? Like, I think that provides a lot of intrigue. And it's the Cowboys. They are the most talked about team in America. Chris in Virginia, you're first up on the Fan. Hello.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
We're doing wonderful, Chris. Go right on ahead.
2 things about the trade deadline and where we're at. The Jets are in year 1 of their rebuild, so them going to the owner and saying, hey, this team is not good enough. We need to trade all of our good young players on defense, stack up for the draft to build up for the future. They can do that. The Browns are in year 6. They can't do that. They have to win, and I feel like we're in such a bad spot. I've been a big fan of Stefanski for his entire tenure. He's been the best coach we've had since '99. But if you're going to go pick a quarterback in the first round next year, and you keep Stefanski and Barry, they're already on the hot seat. We know that doesn't work.
I think it's a great
so
call.
If you're going to pick a quarterback, blow it up, get new coaches in, let them do it. And I hate to say that because I like Stefanski. Not a huge fan of Barry, but, man, it's tough to be a Browns fan out there. Go Browns. Love what you guys do.
Chris, thank you very much for the call, and I'm glad you said it. I think it's a great call because let me tell you why. If you are Jimmy Haslam, if Kenny Carman owns the Browns, if Anthony Lima owns the Browns, you guys don't trust Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski. And so if Andrew comes to you, you're in the middle of a season, you're 2-6, everybody's cussing you out, you're seeing what the fan sentiment is, and then Andrew comes to you and goes, I can get so many picks for Myles Garrett. Do you even trust him to make the trade? Like, you are more apt if you get to the end of this season and you were to let go of Andrew Berry. Think about this. If you get to the end of the season, you let go of Andrew Berry, you let go of Kevin Stefanski, you're going to hire new people. You are already more apt to trust the new people. You just hired them. So if they come to you and go, this is my first year, this is what you have to do, it's going to be very difficult. You have to trade X, Y, and Z. We need this draft capital. You are a great defense. He's a great player. You're not getting any wins out of it. You know what you need to do, and we have to do it. It's a tough decision. We'll make it through. Give me time to do it. You'll be more likely to trust those guys. But if you're sitting there in the middle of a season where you want your football team to do well, you've made this trade before to break this team to prominence, and it's totally 100% overly backfired on you, where everybody is as nasty as it could possibly get towards your team. The team you own, the team you love. There's no way you're trusting those guys. So you kind of got to wait until you're able to clear your head because you don't want to double down on bad decisions.
And I get all of that. I just wonder if there was an edict from ownership that you could not trade Myles Garrett, which would be very different from, the GM of the organization wasn't comfortable doing it right now because that would sign their death certificate as the guys running the organization.
True.
That's what I would love to know. Would the owner have signed off on a Myles Garrett trade?
I don't know if he would have. I got to tell you. Can I explain why when we come back? Let me explain why when we come back. I can only go with what I would do, and I would think twice and 3 times over if it were me, and I'll tell you why in 5 minutes. Also, at 9:44, if you're interested in serial killers, friend, you've come to the right place. 92.3 The Fan, 92.3thefan.com, and the free Odyssey app.
Anthony Lima for...
coming up on Saturday. Don't miss the Browns preview show tonight, 7 o'clock, right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Sign up to be a part of the fan club. Download the free Odyssey app and follow 92.3 The Fan to get all of the best audio and best stories sent straight to your inbox. 92.3thefan.com.
Looking for a winner, enter the code word clouds at 923thefan.com before 10 a.m. Chance to win a pair of tickets to OAR 3 Decades Tour with Gavin DeGraw Friday, September 11th at the Blossom Music Center. Tickets go on sale this Friday, November 7th at livenation.com, all from Live Nation and Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan. Clouds.
Think the trade deadline won a big deal? Think the trade deadline sucks? I want you to listen to this kid.
It's okay, okay?
What?
The Jets traded Sauce today.
To where? To where?
No, it's okay.
Jersey.
It's okay. I'll get you a different one. He went to Indianapolis, and they also traded. They also traded Quinn Williams.
I play center deal.
He did, but so did Sauce.
No, I don't like the Jets. Dad, did Quincy leave?
No, Quincy's still there.
I'm taking down all the Jets stuff now.
No, it's fine. Quinn Williams on the Cowboys. Sauce went to the Colts. It's okay.
I want the Colts now.
Guess what? We got 3 first-round picks for it.
Meanwhile, the dad sounds like he should have a time slot on the Affinity Sports Network. At least he sounds like every host there.
What does that mean?
All right, so Kenny. Good
God.
Yes, those kids, as long as it's not.
Put the safety back on.
As long as it's not a good acting job, I do think that.
No, this kid's crying.
Yeah.
This kid's crying.
That was amazing.
Should I be. See, I'm asking too many questions now. Should I be upset with the dad that he filmed his own kid crying over this?
Ooh.
For likes and retweets and content?
I do like it. I know we are so starved these
let me
days.
not make a big deal about this. I'm sure I've exploited my own family a time or two. Yeah, I don't mean to call out this dad. I'll tell you this. Kind of want to look at me and go, get used to it, kid. My son's 10 and he's already, oh, okay. Like, I'm telling you right now, if they would have traded Myles Garrett, he'd be like, what do we get back? All right. Like, I swear to God, he is already just ready for the pain.
It is something Mason's eventually going to be invested into a team more than he should be, probably. Yeah. And you're gonna have to, I had to do it last year when they traded Naylor. I had to tell Toby, and he's got the jerseys, right? And I told him, and he was like, why wouldn't they just re-sign him? Like, then I had to go into a whole salary cap structure.
Boy, you just gave me you gave me an epiphany. I have to change my whole act for Mason. I can't be cynical Lima.
No, yes, you can.
When I'm raising him to be a Browns fan.
Yes, you can.
Because then he just won't be a Browns fan.
There are a million.
He'll just go somewhere else in 4 years.
Forget what we were going to say. 216-474-0092. Do you raise your kids to be cynical Browns fans?
I can't do that.
I think there's way more dads like you than there are like me.
But then he'll jump ship.
I think there's way more.
The first chance.
He's becoming more and more cynical because he sees my pain. I told you, he just walked out of the room the one day.
No, it's okay.
But I think
Jersey.
there's a lot of dads like you who are very cynical, and they protect their feelings, and they're going to protect their kids' feelings.
Yeah, but that's not fun. Then you're not. You didn't grow up like I grew up. Then, like you.
What do you mean you didn't grow up like I grew up?
You need to. No, I'm saying that
helping your dad steal catalytic converters. I'm sorry.
What I'm saying is, Kenny, like,
that's a legend.
I appreciate it. If I teach him the ways that I am now, then I feel like none of this will matter to him, and then it'll be an easy decision when he goes off to college to go root for whoever. You know, like, I don't want that. I want him to feel the pain that I felt growing up and then build up the scar tissue and all of that. No. It have to build up over time.
I look at my little spoiled brat children who root for the Chiefs and have always had Patrick Mahomes in their life, and I tried to make them Browns fans because that's where we live. And they're like, no, you like this team. Why can't I like this team? And it's not fair. It's not fair that your kids can grow up in a different world from you sports-wise.
Build that callus. Because my son's going to grow up a lot different than I am. I'm telling you right now, he is going to sit there. Like, I'm telling you, he's going to look at this. If they continue this, my son is going to be in his 20s, and he's going to sit there and go, I watched that fat, miserable bastard get drunk in the basement every single Sunday and hope and pray. He was very serious that he was hoping and praying that this team would finally get it. And we only had fun a couple of times, and I saw him scream himself hoarse, and I ain't going to do it. I'm telling you, my son will do that. He will do that. I can already tell he will, because he just walks out now, and he used to get upset about and go, what is this? And that lasted for about a year and a half. And I'm telling you, if they would have traded anybody yesterday, what was the return? All right, we'll see if they get it going. Like, he is becoming very matter of fact about all these things.
But Kenny, this stuff has to matter to our kids. We have to make sure it matters to them. Just because I can be flippant on the radio and go, you guys thought they were going to win games this year. I can't do that with my kid.
No, you know what?
My kid can't have low expectations every year and laugh when they lose.
I can't just keep
you
yelling.
Lose a generation, Anthony.
Exactly. And I just can't keep using tradition and ghost stories to keep them there. Like, eventually you have to get this thing going in the right direction. How were there Browns fans after they fired Paul Brown, after Art Modell let Jim Brown just retire? How were there Browns fans? Oh, yeah, they were good. They got good in the 80s. They had really good players. That's what they did. They won. They finished 8-8 and still went to the AFC Championship game. Like, they still found ways to get it done. They hooked people in. That's what you do. You got to win. It can't just be tradition. It can't just be that's what my father did. It can't just be that's what my grandfather did. I love to keep doing that. And my son is shooting fish in a barrel. He's a Browns fan, and that's just the way it's going to be. But there's plenty of his buddies going, no, I don't need to be a Browns fan. I don't need to do that. And I think that's part of the reason why maybe they didn't trade Myles Garrett for right now. But when it's the middle of wintertime and you don't play a football game for another 8 months, yeah, I think it's all on the table. I think it's absolutely all on the table. Same thing with Denzel. Denzel's from Nordonia, for crying out loud. You don't want to trade him in the middle of the season? Hometown guy? You don't want to do that. But you know what? January, February, March, right before the draft, can't say it won't happen. Can't say it wouldn't happen. And you have plenty of time, because when you're in the middle of the season and they just lost and they just got embarrassed doing it, you're going to have people losing it, and then they're coming to your front door in a week and a half when you host the Baltimore Ravens. And then remember, you are a backloaded schedule. You have to have all these people come to your stadium, and they're going to be mad at you. And they're going to boo, and it's going to be on national television. And the only thing that you can save it from is maybe Dylan Gabriel will do well, probably not. And maybe you'll have these guys around when Shedeur Sanders plays, and maybe Shedeur will play well. I don't know how that's going to go. We'll see. And then you'll get to the end of the year, and then you know what? You guys know this. It is so much easier to take these things of news and to wrap your head around it when it happens in March. It is so much easier to take. You cool off. You start looking forward to the draft. It is so much easier. I'm telling you, if I own the Browns, if I'm Jimmy Haslam, if Jimmy's listening or anything, no, yesterday was not the right time to make such moves. You can still get the same things for the same players in December, or excuse me, in March after the league year, right as they make the trade deadline. You can get the same things. It was not the time. You could still get that many first-round picks for Myles if you really wanted to do it. And we would be pragmatic about it. It would suck, but we would get over it. It would be the same thing with Denzel. It would suck. We would get over it. We would start to pour our hopes into the next guys, because this has been a good run, but it's come to its end. And so we could understand that a little, because if you actually made the right moves and you get players who win, and you go to the AFC Championship game again, and you go to the playoffs over and over again, and it becomes like that type of thing, then I got new traditions. Then my 10-year-old is 13 years old, and he just remembers all the guys that are when he's young, playing very, very well. And then it's so much easier. Then you just start new things. I can't just keep telling people about guys I never got to see. Like my son, it's easy. He's talked to Doug Deacon. How is he supposed to not be a Browns fan? He's hung out with, he's got to meet Jim Donovan and have conversations with Jim. How's he supposed to not be a Browns fan? But everybody else out there, they don't get to do those things, so they're not. What are they holding on to? Rob in Shaker Heights, you're next up on the Fan. Hello.
Hey guys, so my son is 8, And last year, he approached me and asked me if he could have a backup team in addition to the Browns, not exactly to replace them. And all I could say is yes, is because, A, because they're terrible, B, I'm very cynical about it, and C, which I think is the most important thing, is they are just so boring to watch. Those games are just brutal to get through, and by the end of it, all of us are wondering why we wasted our entire Sunday, on this team, which cannot score more than 17 points. They're just so boring. So we sat down and looked at all 32 teams. I said it can't be AFC, and it's got to be in the West, right? Sort of so that the Browns don't play them a lot. And he ended up on the Seahawks. And let me tell you something. Sunday Night Football, the Seahawks played, and I watched it with him, and we probably had more fun watching an NFL game than we have in, the last 3 years.
Jeez.
So that's kind of how old's your son, you said again?
He's 8, and he approached me. He was 7 last year, and he said, "Dad, the Browns are terrible. Can I root for another team?" And I said, "Yeah, but I made a deal with them. I said if the Browns ever play that team, you got to root for the Browns." And that hasn't happened yet, but he said he'll stick with it. We'll see.
Well, you see, that's.
But I'm telling you, the problem is they're just so boring.
Yeah, well,
they're just so boring to watch.
And well, if they were boring in 6-2, we'd find ways to be entertained by them. I mean, we know that, Rob. But it's also that was the same age I was when they moved away, right? So they move away. Well, I'm 8 years old. Well, I'll just tell you, eventually you want to fall back into it. It's easy to fall back into it. Just they got to have some decency to them.
Yeah, and when I was 8, I had Bernie Kosar and Brian Brennan and all those things. So it was, the last good football I've seen was when I was 8 years old, 38 years ago. I felt bad that he did it, but I also felt almost jealous that he did do that, because I keep talking to myself about, well, maybe I should do that, but I'm so stubborn. I'm the 1 year I do that, they're going to go to the Super Bowl, but that's not going to happen. But anyway, that's just all I was going to say to you guys. Is, it's perfectly understandable, and to your point that if they were 6-2 and winning 17-0, if they were 2-6 and scored 35 points a game, we'd be entertained. But this 17 points or 13 points a game is just brutal. It's just absolutely brutal.
Look at the Bengals. Rob, thank you for the call. I mean, Lima, you and I fought. I didn't think it was a good game of football. I could never argue that it wasn't entertaining. That was entertaining. And fans desperately, they want to have their hearts into it. They want to be entertained. That was entertaining. So, I mean, if you're a Bengals fan, as an adult, your heart's ripped out. As a kid, you're watching all these touchdowns. You're like, okay, it'll get better. There is something there to that. MK in Vermont, yellow.
Yeah, so I've got 2 kids, 6 and 8, and I got to do 2 strategies with them. First, I have to bribe them. It's every weekend. We're going to go into Burlington. We're going to go to Buffalo Wild Wings. We're going to have wingies, and you're going to get root beer, and we're going to watch the Browns. And that lasts for about a half. Oh, you're going to Nick Chubb sweatshirt. Well, they traded him. You're going to have to root for some draft picks. The other thing I got to do is I got to make them hate the other teams because they are surrounded by Pats fans. And so I've got to remind them, every Pats Super Bowl was tainted. There was Videogate, and there was, Deflategate, and, Tom Brady, he really wasn't as good because he was begging refs for a call every play. So I really got to attack this 2 ways. But Guardians fans, they love Guardians. My kids can't get enough Guardians. They love Jose. They love Quan. So getting them to root for the Browns is just a chore to try and get this done out here.
MK, thank you very much for the call, especially when you're in a different area. And it's I can just easily join the group if I want to. Again, 95, my dad's a Dolphins fan. It's okay, you still got Marino. That's fine. I got buddies who became Washington fans. I had buddies who became... I had nobody who became a Steelers fan. I had a lot of buddies who became Packers fans. A lot of buddies they're like everybody's next door neighbor. They're wonderful people. Let's be Packer fans for a few years. There was a lot of that. And then, eventually you get old enough to drink, and you come up back to Cleveland, and it meant they went to the playoffs in 2001. So, you got something going there. And so you get a little taste of it, and then here we are years later, and talking about trading away the best player in the history of the defense on the franchise. Oh, life comes at you quick. 9:45. If you're interested in serial killers, friends, you've come to the right place. Coming up next, Was it a mistake? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app.
Anthony Lima, Floors with a Z. Never a mistake to walk into one of their incredible selection centers and start to visualize what new flooring is going to look like in your home and how dramatic that is going to be when all is said and done. And I know firsthand because I've had floors in
Indiana, Texas A&M, Alabama, and Georgia. Ohio State will be at Purdue coming up on Saturday afternoon. Don't miss the Browns preview show tonight, 7 o'clock, right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Show today. Weird show.
Well, it's because we didn't have a lot of
weird ass show.
We didn't have a Denzel Ward trade, a Njoku trade.
Nope.
Like, although I gotta say, Njoku would have been interesting because he does have fans because he's been here so long.
Oh, yeah.
What year is this for Njoku?
18
for the Browns.
The same as Miles. They were in the same draft. Year 9.
God, 9 years of Njoku. Is he on the verge of? I know we've had one unbelievable Hall of Fame tight end. Is he close to any kind of production numbers in the history? He's just been here so long. You know, guys don't get a chance to really do that.
If this team was a really good team, I think we'd be like, and welcome back, David Njoku, like that type of thing. But since they're not a really good team, it's like, oh, remember David? Like years from now. Hate to say it. That's true. Like Joel Bitonio broke the start streak, things like that. I think guys like me who really like offensive linemen and stuff, like will go, oh, man.
He's currently third in yards.
Okay.
All time?
Yeah, for the Browns.
For the franchise? Who's ahead of him?
Ozzie Newsome. Ever heard of him?
Well, obviously. Yeah. And then who?
Milt Warren.
Okay.
He's ahead of Kellen Winslow. And Gary Barnidge. And Ben Watson.
Did Milt Warren have as many quarterbacks throwing to him as David Njoku? Ozzie certainly didn't.
Well, let me open the Warren files here.
Okay. Albert Breer was on yesterday. I want 03, by the way, because this is where it's going to start getting ugly here. We've argued all day whether or not they should tank, whether it should be a tanky team. Now, I've said, for fans who want to tank, I don't want to sit there and call you losers. You have no power over it. I have no power over it, and all you want is some light at the end of the tunnel. You want to win eventually. I've been taking calls from dads who are at their wits' end about their organization, about the Browns organization, and them trying to make their sons Browns fans, and I hear you, I feel you, all those things. So I can't sit there and call you guys a bunch of losers when all you want to do is have something to look forward to and win and enjoy it. I don't need to sit down and break inverted cover 2 with you down. Let's just go out and win some football games, and we'll talk about it later. And it's easy to have fun that way. So I don't blame you on that. My argument is for the people who are the inside football people, who claim to be inside football people. Again, tell me the organizations that really, truly, like there's years that the teams have bad years, and they end up with good players when they already had good players. But there's plenty of teams, they win, and they just keep winning. They traded up for their guy. They found the right guy. They just keep winning. They have the right people in place. Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of luck. Did the Chiefs think that Patrick Mahomes was going to be that good? That good? They thought he was going to be good, definitely. This good, I don't know. The Bills thought Josh Allen was going to be good. To do what you did, I don't know if they thought he was going to be that good. So it takes a little bit of luck, but you have to have some know-how. The teams that try to win seem to always win. Where the teams that have bought into a losing culture in the past, they still lose. Jets, Commanders find themselves on very difficult times. I know what you guys want to bring up about last year. Look at what the mess has been this year. And how Jaden Daniels has not been able to help them overcome that because they've had a couple of injuries in key spots.
Well, that's a good point. Think about how Cincinnati and Washington both hit the jackpot at quarterback, and Cincinnati won right away.
Yeah.
And what has it been since? Yeah. Some of it's out of their control, obviously, but even healthy, Burrow's lost a lot of games when healthy.
There's a lot of people love to throw the Bengals in my face, and I go, okay, yeah, I know they went to the Super Bowl, and all their fans think that they wasted their time. Because, again, things get in the way. And when you don't try to build a complete team and you don't know how to be winners, you're going to have a problem with that. Yeah, they got close. Joe Burrow's that good of a quarterback, and you should have taken advantage of it while he was healthy. But if you would have had a little bit of a better team and made a bold move or something of that nature, you might not have been in that situation in the first place. Like, Joe Burrow's great. And I'm sure you'll have fond memories of him while you're out on your leather ass while you continue to lose. And he continues to get hurt. But Washington, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Miami, New York, the Jets always seem to be in the same place when they don't have Joe Burrow. That's how I know Joe Burrow is elite of the elite and one of the ones of ones, because you're able to raise that boat. And I just don't want to turn this into a situation where we have to raise that boat. I mean, you guys want to go back to the Baker situation? Yeah, you want to know the main problem with Baker Mayfield? Our whole main problem with Baker Mayfield, we expected way too much out of him way too soon, and it blew all our minds because we put all our eggs in the tanking basket, and so he had to be something he wasn't. Now he's in Tampa Bay, and what is he? He's a good, strong-armed, tough quarterback with weapons galore, and he's able to go down the field. And if we would have just been looking for a tough, strong-armed, competent quarterback who's able to go through and go down the field with a two-step drop and just rifle it to good weapons, we'd be in a much better place. But we needed a guy to be a messiah. And there was too much given too soon, too much power given too soon, and we ended up losing it. Well, that's the lesson we need to learn.
But I think the hardest part of this, Ken, is feel like we have tried, since this station has been on the air, we've tried tanking. We've tried just thinking we were delusional and going to win every year and had mediocre years.
Yeah.
We've tried everything you can try. We've even had some winning, on a very small scale relative to the rest of the NFL. But we've had some good years and then tried to follow up on it by, quote, going all in. It's like nothing has worked. And I think that's the frustrating part in all of this for Browns fans.
216-474-0092. So do you think that there were mistakes being made? Because we got to look at the next step and go, okay, where do we go from here? Because if they're going to be in evaluation mode, I'm going to be in evaluation mode. I mean, you guys attacked me earlier today. I'm not trying to... I love to have fun, and I love putting on a show, but I'm going to be a real evaluating you-know-what coming up on Monday.
I am not going to
sit here and
sound
do this.
Like this. I've never heard you, because I know Ken is always the last one to ever fall in line with the tanking crowd, or a loss is a good on a Sunday, because we come on Monday and we want to have fun, and we never have fun when they lose, no matter how entertaining a loss is, no matter how unbelievable a mind-blowing loss. How could they do this? No matter what, Ken wants to come in positive, joking, laughing, and having something to feel good about for an entire week. And when I told him that based on the Jets trades yesterday, we went from 2.5-point underdogs to one of the worst teams in football to now we're favorites. And I saw a lot of Browns fans saying, maybe we don't want to win this game.
So I'll tell you this. I think you do want to win the game. I think you want to have some culture. We'll find out what they do in the offseason. Maybe you find Tennessee's going to probably be open for business. You don't want to give up on Cam Ward. You may finish behind them when it comes to the draft situation. Maybe you make some big moves. Maybe you want somebody they want. I don't know how that's going to work, but you'll be able to move up, I believe, because you'll probably have new people in place, because I don't know how they're going to keep everybody around, but you probably have new people in place. But let me explain this. This is why I'm going to be this way, because I don't want Mondays after a Browns game to ever be fake. If I feel that way, that's what I'm going to tell you. So I hate to be it. I'm just going to have to turn off social media, and it's going to be tough to take the calls, because I think some people are going to want to goad me into it, to where I over-exuberate everything when they just beat the Jets. Not going to do that. If they're going to evaluate, then I'm going to evaluate. And I'll come in and say, I'm glad they won, but Dylan Gabriel played like garbage. Or I'm glad they won, but Dylan Gabriel still needs to prove it if he plays well. Hopefully he does. If he plays well, he still needs to prove it against Baltimore, not against a team that's reeling because they are in an open tank and they just gave up two of their biggest players on defense. I hope he's able, as a backup quarterback over a career, take advantage of a team that just gave up its best corner and its best defensive pass rusher. I hope that they're able to do that. We'll see. I hope that he's able to. That's me being very honest, because if I come in here and I am whooping it up, and I'm calling for the music, it's just going to be a show, and that's fake. Okay, I'm not going to be fake.
I get that, but I've just never heard you, unless it's like week 17 and Driscoll's in, or whoever we've started in some of those last weeks of the year. I've never heard you this early in the year. It sounded like you were poo-pooing if Gabriel had a great performance this week.
Because he's not. I don't think he's going to.
Yeah, but I
don't think he's gonna.
I gave you the stipulation. Like I'm
I
like
understand.
if he balls out in a big way.
But I didn't think it was a realistic stipulation. And even if that becomes
That's
realism,
how bad you think he is.
If he throws for, what did you say, 320?
325.
If he throws for 325 and 2 touchdowns, I will think I have died and gone straight to hell. But I will tell you this. Oh, maybe heaven. We'll see. If he goes for 325 and 2 touchdowns on my dead mother who's in my basement in a box of ashes right now, I will come in here and go, nice performance. Let's see if you do it against a real football team that has real aspirations here. And if that means I'm the biggest bastard in Cleveland on Monday, then that means I'm the biggest bastard. I only want what everybody else wants. I want them to be a good football team, not just win a couple of Sundays a year. I want them to be a good team with a good chance that has a chance and be competitive every year. So I'm going to call it how it is now. Now, I can't guarantee how it's going to be before week 1 next year. I know I'm an excitable person. But I'll tell you right now, I can talk myself into a lot of things. I'm not going to lie to myself coming up on Sunday. Kickoff's at 1 o'clock. If they do well against the Jets, good. You know what? You have one of the highest paid defensive ends in football. You have one of the most expensive defenses in football. I expect you to go out there and beat a team like that. I expect Justin Fields to not have the same performance he did against one of the worst defenses we've seen, like against the Cincinnati Bengals. I would expect you hold yourselves accountable to this. But if you don't, it's going to be more of the same, and I'll be even nastier. But if they do win, congratulations. You've won another game. Now let's see what you do against Baltimore. I'm just going to evaluate and be honest. Because if I fake it on Monday and they look like hell and they still just grind some 12-9 win out, no. I'm not doing the thing. The best thing about us being on YouTube is that people actually see us and know that if there's a lot of things that you can accuse us of. This ain't no act. I ain't going to lie to anybody. Jim in Strongsville. Hello.
Hey, listen, Ken, I just wanted to take one thing with you. I think there were still some people out there that were unsure about Baker. I don't think it was a patience thing. I 100% blame Kevin Stefanski for the Baker thing. Because, listen, if they would have just sat Baker when he got hurt instead of marching him out there, letting him look like garbage, I think fans would have had a different perspective.
Well, then that's probably a little bit of Andrew and the ownership as well, don't you think? You can't just blame Kevin on that. You can't just blame Kevin.
I don't just blame him, but I think it's hard to say that there wasn't some kind of rift between those two when Baker came out and publicly criticized.
You're right. But you already said you blame 100%, and then you go, well, it's not all him to blame. The other people share blame too. Well, okay, you can't blame Kevin for everything. So what are we saying about Baker here, Jim?
But what you were saying was perfect, though. Let's say you did sit Baker. Let's say you sat him. You would have had a bad record. You would have been a bad team, drafting pretty high with your quarterback coming back. I can't help but look at how different things would have been. And here's the thing I don't want to do. And you brought it up, and I think it's 100% right. Is I don't want to get into next year with a coach and GM on the hot seat and draft a quarterback and be 1 year in, not even 1 year in, 7 games in and realize that we got to get rid of all these guys. And then we got a quarterback starting with a new coach, new GM, new everything. We're right back to where we started 6 years ago. And I don't want to have that happen.
I know, but it's probably going to go that way. You know that.
That makes me sad and want to cry.
It is sad, and it should make you want to cry, but that's where it's going because, hey, right now you're in arrears because of the contract that you signed with the new quarterback that you got. Thank you the old quarterback that you got right now. 216-474-0092. Until that gets out from under, we got a lot of making up to do. So hopefully we can get a guy in here. Either it's going to be Dylan, probably not. Could be Shador, we'll see. Or it's going to be a guy who's playing in college right now. I mean, that's as simple as it gets. Dave in Cleveland, hello.
Yeah, I just think the Browns need to tank. What are we playing for? You know what I mean? We're not making the playoffs.
What are you tanking for?
Hopefully a quarterback.
When has it ever worked?
You're right, but we can't. I mean, you're right about that. I ain't gonna lie, you are right about that.
Thank you, Dave. But Dave, I'm not saying you're an idiot or anything like that. That'd be disrespectful. And I know you just when you say you want a quarterback, you're tired of losing. You just want a chance every week, right?
Facts.
Because if you, like a Chiefs fan, just knows as long as I got Patrick Mahomes, I'm in every single game, and I'm probably going to win every single game. That's a beautiful feeling to have. That's comfort. But Dave, we're getting to the point here. I'm not just going to evaluate the Browns. I'm going to evaluate everybody. I mean, I got to start making arguments for quarterbacks. And right now, it's a big crapshoot. I mean, you're going to have about 4 or 5 guys in this draft who are going to be quote unquote first round grades. We got to figure it out with one of these guys. Dave, thank you for the call. 216-474-0092. Chuck in Middleburg, you're next up on the fan. Hello.
Amigos, what's up, guys?
Hi, Chuck.
Hey, shout out to Owen, man. I think he was on last week. He had a lot to say. He need to get some more airtime more often, man. He be having some nice little
We'll
takes.
allow it.
Owen, speak.
It's just a couple things I want to say. Gabriel, do y'all notice? Well, you can see the pressure on his face that he has on him. This dude never smiles. I mean, it's crazy. The pressure is not from him being so short with the gravitational pull, because, he's a short dude. I do want to say this. This is what I think about Kevin Stefanski, and as far as him. When he has playmakers, he has struggles with them within his system. He's a tell you where to throw the ball type of guy. If you notice, I think before Jameis took over, that's when he handed over the play calling to Dorsey.
Mm-hmm.
What happened from that? So I think, if you look at Gabriel, he's just going where Kevin wants him to go with the ball. And if you look at Shador in the preseason, he was threading needles, probably throws that Kevin wouldn't have wanted him to make. But when you don't have a coach that lets you, like, look at Josh Allen and look at Mahomes. You just said something about those two guys, Ken. Those quarterbacks didn't hold them guys back. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, go out there and be a gunslinger if that's what you are. And that's how you win in the NFL.
Well, you definitely want to enable your quarterback to do what's comfortable to him, but you don't. If the guy is making what are bad decisions that he's not going to get away with in the NFL, we gotta reach a happy medium. And
my wife has something to say. Oh, my bad, about Lima. I just wanted to get that in.
No, wait a minute. I can't just. Is she going to get on the phone and say it?
Nah, we was in the car, and she's just convinced that Lima hates the Shadorians. She just said you always trolling, but
called them the Shadorians
with them, bro. Yeah,
Chuck, thank you very much. Lima, what's your retort to Chuck? I wish you and your
Lima,
wife.
You never talk on our call, bro.
Years of happiness. What's going on?
You know what? I wish. To be honest here for a second, I'll throw out the olive branch here. I wish the Shador fans would have a little bit more of a sense of humor. I feel like that's missing in a lot of the Shador conversations. They lead, every Shador conversation leads with, we're out to get him. We have coded language that we have other ulterior motives for not liking him. When you could just kind of tune in and see where our conversations go.
But if you're having conversations, I'll tell you this, Chuck, maybe you agree with me. I know we're up against it here. When you're having conversations for the last 4 years with people who just hate him for whatever reason and don't make no damn sense for why they hate the guy, it's going to be hard to have if they don't know you before,
and they didn't hear
it's going to be hard to have a sense of humor knowing you now.
They didn't hear me and you talk about him for the last few years.
Yes.
Well, they all in Brown's prison now. I know that.
Welcome to the party.
Oh, my God. Thank you, Chuck. 216-474-0092. I'm going to try to get to some of you guys. It's a big one. I'm also getting a slogan that's being put up on social media right now, why I'm wrong about tanking. I'm going to explain why you guys are wrong, and I'm the one who's right. And if you guys are down with serial killers, you do not want to miss the next segment.
Get your shovel out.
Ken Carman, Tone Master General. Fat and thin. Was there ever two serial killers at home? There were people who said that Gacy had help. Are you, you know what? Never mind. Was there ever two?
It's been a great conversation to have in the break.
Okay. Because I was trying to compare us to, I can't do it. There's nothing.
Lyle and Eric, they weren't serious.
Easy. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, live on the fan. KC Roofing, kcroof.net. From a hole in your...
Watch The Fan live on YouTube. Catch The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima from 6 to 10 a.m. and Afternoon Drive with Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin from 2 to 7 p.m. each and every weekday. It's free. Subscribe to 92.3 The Fan on YouTube.
Lima's got an email to read to everybody. Social media reactions brought to you by Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. I'm getting a lot of things on social media about, well, can suck for luck work? Did it?
Right.
Did it? You see some of the draft picks that they had after they got Andrew Luck? I know, Ken, they went to the playoffs. And then he retired years too soon because he had a lacerated spleen, because he didn't have an offensive line, because the Colts didn't know what the hell they were doing, because they sucked as an organization. It didn't work. Hey, give Carly Ursay-Gordon a lot of credit right now. She is trying to be a collected, good organization. And we'll see if this gamble works out. But you suck for luck work. Yeah, you got yourself a good quarterback that you guys booed as he walked off the field.
He got so beat up that he left the sport.
He got so beat up he had to leave the sport. And he left way too soon. How old is Andrew Luck right now?
I think he's only 27.
Shut up. He's 36. He should still be playing.
Right.
He's 36.
Remember, I think like 4 years ago, I hear...
Oh, I remember that.
It was longer than that.
No, it was longer than that.
Was it really?
Yeah, it's been a while now.
I just assumed he'd come back, and he didn't.
No. Now it looks like he really wouldn't come back. He's the GM of Stanford. And they're beating Florida State. They're doing better than what some people thought. Now, Florida State's not good, but you get what I'm saying. All right, let's hear. What were you going to mention something else there?
Oh, I will. We love when coaches get to their breaking points, so might get to that here after this. So
that's not going to happen.
Thank you, Peter. Peter has written us before. He is in East Lansing, Michigan.
Great listener.
And
great guy.
First of all, the title of the email.
I don't know that. You might not think that after this.
This is one of those situations where you have my attention. The title of the email is Ed Gein Grave.
Oh, boy.
Say that 3 times.
You want to do the Django Unchained?
Ed Gein Grave. I'm not doing it. No, I'm not doing it.
Peter?
No.
You absolutely have our attention. So he goes on to write.
You're still messing with your eye holes over there.
My family is originally from the Iron Mountain, Michigan, right on the Wisconsin border. One summer in the early 90s, my uncle was down in Appleton for a week of work and decided to take a detour over to Plainfield. The photos attached. Those photos, Kenny, are of Ed Gein's grave. How many sports talk shows in the country are getting this kind of content from their listeners?
So there's the picture of Ed Gein, 1906 to 1984. If you don't know who Ed Gein is, you go ahead and Google him. He was, I would say, he's a fine upholsterer. There's the picture of the grave, and then this is his uncle, right? The picture of the picture of his uncle behind the grave. Why? Okay, he's got one over the grave where he's on one knee and he looks like the Sandy Alomar catcher stance, and he's like, "Hello," like he's got jazz hands going. And then the one he's laying behind it, like in a pose of death.
Yeah, like
behind
he's the next one to get dug up. So here's what I always wonder about situations like this.
This is some dark humor.
We're sitting here, we're laughing, it's dark humor, but because this happened so long ago, the crimes happened in what, the 30s?
Yeah.
The 20s and the 30s and the 40s?
No, the crimes, that crime happened in 1957.
Oh, 57.
Oh, yeah, during hunting season.
Okay, so...
I know about it. All the guys were out of town.
That's it on the calendar.
Ed Gein, he was a bit of a hermit. He was a handyman. He went into the hardware store. He kind of had a thing for the hardware owner, but she had turned him down a couple of times. Went in one day, asked for a quote on antifreeze, got some antifreeze, went in the next day, and away he went.
And so started a miraculous story.
And that's that.
At what point, how many years have to pass for dark humor to be realized?
It depends.
Like, if you did this 5 years after, people would be like, what are you doing, dude? But all these years later, it's like, that's a funny joke. Can't believe that happened. How many years make it a funny joke? Can't believe that happened.
Well, okay, let's test the theory. If you've been in any famous graves of any notorious figures, please send us the emails of the pictures.
How long did it take for the OJ thing to become just fodder. I know it was instantly fodder for the Tonight shows.
During the trial?
But people still felt terrible.
Of course they did, but the trial, like, you could say I'm not laughing at the people who died. I'm laughing at the craziness of the trial. The Marsha Clark, and I'm going to cut my bangs, and Judge Ito, Mike Myers is Judge Ito. Like, there was some funny stuff there. When they had the thing about the dream team and shouldn't you be driving drunk? Like, that's funny stuff.
Well, yes, there's a lot of material, but would you go to Nicole Brown Simpson's grave first year after that and pose in a funny way?
No, you've got that wrong.
But this is the guy.
Would you go to OJ's grave, but he just died?
Well,
yeah, that was the victim. This is the perpetrator.
But he dug up his mom. And is that
uncle didn't? This guy's uncle didn't dig up his mom. Ed Gein dug up his mom.
Uncle just jazz handed over.
But I gotta say, I don't know what this guy's capable of. I have to say, I mean, for him to even do this,
digging up his mom, I make references all the time. My mom is in a box of ashes in my office.
We've got a couple minutes. It's time for you to unveil your theory of why you think these shows are coming back.
Oh, I know why.
This is not good.
I know why they're coming.
This is a bad theory.
It's not a bad theory at all.
It is not a good theory.
I heard a big time producer talking about why Hollywood stayed away from all these for so long, because they thought the public didn't have an appetite for it.
Turns out they have an insatiable lust for it.
Now that they found that out, you notice they're getting kind of thin on the stories, because the stories have been done to death in one way or another over time. So now I'm only left to believe that much in the way that Ed Gein was an influencer for a lot of the twisted movies and how dark society got with a lot of that stuff, art and literature, which then spawned a lot of if you watch Mindhunter, spawned a lot of real life serial killers. Isn't Netflix and everybody else, the one I'm watching is on Peacock, aren't they all hoping for more serial killers?
No.
So they have more content?
You psycho.
Then they can make their movies again.
Reckless speculation.
It's a vicious serial killer cycle.
Zay222 says, I know way too much about serial killers. Scott CPR, he's right. He said Ed Gein never dug up his mom. He tried to dig up his mom.
he couldn't do it.
He couldn't do it.
So he went to the next door neighbor.
He went to the next grave, and then he dug up other graves.
Yeah, that's true. It's a good fact check.
You'd think if it was your own mom, you'd make sure she was in an easier grave to dig, but...
Look, as a person who's had to bury a parent, you don't think about those things at the time.
Well, you do what I did. I didn't even have to bury her. She just hangs out in the basement.
Keep her in the basement.
Ken does know a lot about this stuff.
Yeah. Mom would be proud.
Speaking of...
I talk to her every day when I go to my office.
Speaking of, is Bill O'Brien digging his own grave with BC? They're 1-8 this year, Kenny.
I say, Mom, what do you think of Myles Garrett? Should we trade him for 3 first-round picks? She goes, Kenny, I don't know. You can't keep asking me these questions. I have to move on. And I go, no. If
You're stuck in prison with us.
If I'm going to be in purgatory, you're going to be too, Mom. Okay? What about Bill O'Brien? Do we have the audio?
Yes, they're 1-8.
Oh, play the audio. Can we play the audio? Please, Owen, let us play the audio.
Whatever.
Yeah.
A message for the fans. Obviously, losing to Notre Dame Catholic school rival, 1-8 now in the season. BC. I've heard from a lot of fans. They're just really.
I'm really glad. You know, I'm glad you're down. I'm not down. Nobody's down. We're fighting. We're competing. You know, it's the second year of this program, Mike. You always come in here with these down questions. Like, you show up like once a month or something like that. You come in here with these down questions. I'm not down. I don't know what year you graduated from BC, but this is a program that we're building. Okay. Nobody here's down. We're positive. We're going to show up and play our asses off against SMU. You can go out there in your dark, clouded world or whatever it is and do what you want to do. We're not down. The sun is up, and we're fighting. That's my message to the fans. What's up, Trevor?
I love that. Next question.
How much would you like Kevin Stefanski more if he just did that?
You'd like to see one of those, right? You can't be every week. You'd like to see one.
Who would he lose it on?
Oh, Jeff Shadell.
Sitting here talking sports as much as I can. I know that
What's up, Trevor?
I think Jeff would be the one. I think it'd be somebody else who they would go with the negative stuff, and he'd say, Lloyd, what's up, Jeff? Like, that's what it would be. Good for Bill O'Brien. He's right. Big thanks to everybody who joined us today. We're back tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Hopefully you get everything you want in life today. Mary Kay Cabot joins us tomorrow, 8:20. For Big Country, for Jeff, for Mitch, the Slippery Wizard, Anthony Lima. I'm Ken Carman. Have a wonderful day, my friends. Go Cavs. Let's get this win tonight. Welcome back, Darius Garland.
I know that
Let's
they are
go.
always
Welcome back,
Let's
DJ.
go. Wine and gold or blue and gold. What are their colors tonight?
Always take life as a risk or a chance.
Sounds good.
Where's your entourage now?
Cool, I got on the last show.
Loser town, loser fans, and you guys are